Hello, all, and welcome to Sports Wire. We are in for another stream. Of course, this is an important news and an integral news for Chelsea, but for this particular season, definitely because we are gonna be almost getting Kounde. It's going to be done. We're probably going to be getting this information in the next few hours. We'll definitely talk about that, and we have some information around the academy players as well going out on loan. So we'll be talking about that as well. It's going to be an important stream. It's going to be lovely to talk to you guys once again. So stay tuned with the channel as we go through the topics. And yeah, there's some, there's some. Just a second, guys. All right, I'm just setting my monitor. Apologies for that. Yeah, we're all set now. Yeah. So there is obviously going to be some conversations around Barcelona and Chelsea, the Twitter battle that was ongoing between Barcelona and Chelsea fans. If you guys did not know about that, obviously I'll keep you apprised about that. But if you guys want to really hop in and have your say on the channel, Sportswire has always been an open channel where we have players in the fans in to have their say as well. Obviously, we are going live across three platforms today: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you guys are catching us anywhere in any of the streams, please let us know if you like the conversation, where this is going, and if you like Chelsea signing Kounde, what can Kounde bring into Chelsea squad is something that we all are waiting in anticipation. We've already got messages from Tobago. Tobago says that, big up VJ, how are you doing? Hope you're well. I am well, obviously, and hope you're doing good as well, Tobago. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Yes, guys, please go ahead, hit that like button wherever you're watching it from: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, doesn't matter. Just press that like button, really helps for the growth of the channel. And it'll also help us bring more quality content to you guys as well. Having said that, um, like I mentioned previously, if you want to hop in and have your say, that's the link for you guys to come in and have your say. But let's get into the topic without any further delay. The first topic on the agenda for us today is talking about um, this Kounde topic. Yeah. We've got another guest as well in the show. It's Tobago who's joining us live now. Tobago, I hope he is well as well. DJ Savage has also joined us. Big up VJ says DJ Savage. So there's a lot of interesting topics that we will be going through. Tobago has joined us live. Hi, Tobago. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. What do you feel about this Kounde topic? Before we get into that, before we hear from you on the answer, I really wanted to keep the group apprised about the Twitter battle that was going on. There was apparently one hashtag that was created by Romero, Barcelona journalist, Karma Kounde. And that was something that was ongoing as well. I mean, he initiated that particular um, hashtag, and then a lot of people retweeted it, tweeted with that particular hashtag in their tweets. But then Chelsea fans, in reply to that, had another hashtag created: Kounde is blue. And I heard, I'm not sure how much this is true, but I heard a lot of people, my contacts in Spain, of course, telling me that the Kunde is blue tag hashtag was more popular even in Spain. It was trending in Spain more than that of Kama Kunde. You can imagine the kind of reach that Chelsea right now has in the market, has in the fan base, and that is exactly the power of a Premier League. Giant like Chelsea Football Club. Of course, we probably are looking right now in terms of winning this battle, but this battle has always been up and down, a roller coaster ride. We've had situations when Chelsea was leading this conversation. We had situations when Barcelona was leading this conversation. Now, obviously, we heard about the personal terms being agreed as well by Kounde to Barcelona. That was something that was keeping the Chelsea fans a bit nerve-wracking. So we were wondering if at all Kounde is going to be joining us. But then, with the latest news that is coming up from Matlaw's side as well, on the Chelsea's perspective, and also cross comparing that with Romero's comments in his recent tweets and his YouTube channel, of course, where he is mentioning that Barcelona are looking to explore further options, and Inigo Martinez being one amongst them for Barcelona. You can see that they're taking a step back. You can feel that they are actually going back on whatever they have communicated before. Rashad Rahman was another journalist who was retweeting whatever Romero was talking about in this particular context. So, lots to talk about when it comes to the Kounde deal. After 1 year of struggle, we might actually have Kounde at the Stamford Bridge. How excited are you, Debago, on hearing this news?
To be honest, man, you know what? I'll rather wait until it's official. But again, like now, I'm on a 80% confident and 20% for disappointment, because like we know what happened with the Rafinha deal. But again, this one is different, because like Kounde is open to go to Barcelona or Chelsea. And again, Chelsea made an offer that Barcelona can't match now. So let's say automatically is coming to Chelsea. And if so, man, I'm happy, because like you can cover 3 positions for us or 4 positions for us. So I'm happy about that, because like I always emphasize this, we need versatile players in order for us to compete. In order, for example, if another player is injured, we know that that position will be covered. So getting Kounde is a bonus for us, and I'm happy about it. So hopefully we'll get an official statement soon. Here we go soon, so that we can celebrate, and then we can be calm about this this news.
Everyone is waiting for that Barcelona. Sorry, we're waiting for that Fabrizio Romano's confirmation, isn't it? Because that is something that actually confirms the news, and people are waiting. Right now, this is almost going to be in terms of hours, because once Kounde has, I think. Debago, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he has joined Sevilla now on their pre-match season. So it's going to be Kounde who should be flying back to London to do his medicals. I hope that is the process that's going to be happening next, right? I think that
Yeah,
is what we were informed as well.
yes, correct. Because like he was not supposed to go to the preseason training, but the reports are saying like he wanted to go there for his fitness level in case something is not happening soon. So I guess that was a right idea, rather than waiting, do nothing. So hopefully this saga will end over the weekend, so that we can get new players in, and then we can move to
Yeah.
the next target.
And that also makes sense if you think about it from another angle, where the player is obviously supposed to go through the medicals, right? And if the player is obviously fit, or he wants to get fit, what better way to get fit than your match experience? So him going to the preseason match, I wouldn't read too much into it. It's not because Barcelona asked him to hold back, and that's the reason why he's going for a preseason training. I wouldn't go so far to say that, but it does make a lot of sense for him to get his fitness back, for him to pass the medical test. Of obviously, the players would need some sort of a match practice. Him coming from a break in terms of the international, he will obviously need some match data. Match experience, and I think that is exactly what he is opting for as well. We've got 9 people watching the stream right now. Guys, please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel as well. We are hearing the Kounde news, and we will keep you updated live on the air as and when it comes, because the news is so quick, and it's been reported across Spain and the UK by multiple journalists. So it's very important that we have a track of that. I am tracking it on multiple tabs across Twitter to keep you guys posted on the latest information. But it seems it is likely that Kounde is going to be joining Chelsea Football Club, and the deal is going to be a worth of 55 million just in terms of transfer fee to Sevilla, plus additional add-on bonus, of course. We have not been informed yet about his weekly wages, except for that of a yearly pay that comes to around 12 million. I'm not sure how far that is true, and how far of that is actual his wage and the add-on to it, because add-on is another part of your wage structure, obviously. So amongst 12 million, if the add-ons are also included and that contains a 2 million, then his wage needs to be calculated from 10 million, which will make the weekly wage. So obviously that's a bit tricky. We don't know exactly the specifics of the wage right now that is being offered to Kounde, but whatever it is, it's still Chelsea are leading the race to join to acquire Kounde from Sevilla, and it's just a matter of hours before it is officially announced. And what will be your reaction, Tobago, when you hear about this news? Jules Kounde is joining Chelsea, because this is not just a transfer that was coming up like a Lukaku transfer. Though Lukaku transfer is a 100 million transfer, obviously we were notified about this transfer situation just a week before. Yeah, so it was just a week's excitement before Lukaku came in, right? So we didn't have that sort of an anticipation before Lukaku would come in and join our club. But this Kounde deal has been a dream for a lot of Chelsea fans, including CFC Gem, Rebecca. A lot of people in our Chelsea community wanted Jules Kounde to be in our squad for the last 1 year, and it's something that has been dragging on. In spite of all the Chelsea administration issues that were going on, we were still showing interest in this player, and this player was made to wait by the Chelsea leadership because of us not being in a proper position to sign him, and the club not, I mean, Sevilla not allowing him due to multiple reasons. But then he was made to wait. That's for sure. He was definitely disappointed the last season when we came across to sign him. It was so close. He was obviously going to hop on to that flight, but then he missed that flight by an inch because of some issues with Sevilla not agreeing to that fee. Right now, the situation is different. Obviously, we are paying what Sevilla has asked for. So it's going to be a smooth ride, I believe. But how much are you excited about this signing? How much will you react once you know that Jules Koundé is a Chelsea Blue?
You know what? If this deal they'll announce it now or anytime soon or tomorrow or over the weekend, because like all I'm saying, like we need to get him so that we can move to other targets. Also, try maybe to ship out the players that are not good enough for our squad. But again, it won't be easy, as we saw reports from Metlo that
I was
some
just talking
players.
about Jem. Sorry to cut you off there, Tobago. I was just talking about Jem, who was, very much interested in this Kounde deal. He wanted Kounde for sure. You saw so many posts and tweets from
I'm
CFC Jem,
sorry.
and here you go. You might see Kounde joining us within a matter of hours. Jem, how much are you happy about this? Please let us know on the comment section while we continue to hear from Tobago on this.
I'm so happy, man, because like as I said, we need versatile players. We need players that will fit into our system. So if you can check his stats, I know some people say stats doesn't build football or are confusing, but again, he's good on the ball, he, and then aerially is good beside his height. So man, look, yo, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Finally, things are happening.
Yeah, Rebecca as well is here. Rebecca, it just took a couple of signs for me to
Are you
get
there?
back, and I'm excited right now about the signing. We've got the
Vijay?
people who, yeah, go on,
Oh
Debaka.
man. Am I alone? Big up to Rebecca, big up to Jem, big up to GSF.
Yeah, big up, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. Of course, Rebecca and Jem have been, these ardent supporter of, Jules Koundé coming into Chelsea. They've been tweeting a lot. They've been wanting this particular signing to happen, and I think it's wonderful feeling for them as well. It's probably going to be a wonderful feeling when Fabrizio Romano comes out with a tweet saying that Jules Koundé has signed a deal with Chelsea Football Club for 55 million or whatever is the cost. Right now, the cost is not something that we are concerned about. We need that player. We need that particular signing. I don't care if he's 5'10" or 5'6". As long as he can do the job, I'm still fine with it. I'm pretty confident that he can do the job, and that's the reason why I am excited equally as well about this Koundé signing. We have lost Rudiger, Christensen, and so many players on that defensive line, and we are looking for replacements. And Koundé is definitely a welcome addition for Chelsea FC. And this point, it is very much required. After seeing that Charlotte game, I'm 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 down to dust. I really want a signing to get me back into that Chelsea saddle. I need to be ready for that season this time. And I don't want a game like Charlotte once again against Arsenal. But yeah, that's a discussion for another topic, obviously. But then now it's Koundé time. Looking healthy, Vijay. Good to see you streaming again. Yeah, Rebecca, we've been streaming for the last 1 week. We've had close to 3 streams in that span of time. Hopefully, we'll be back with full fledged since my visa process and all is over. So I'm probably going to be moving to Ireland in the month of September. So things are sorted from a personal standpoint for me, which leaves me with just this YouTube and you guys, to interact and talk about Chelsea. I'm happy to do that, and thanks for letting me know that. You guys are with me during the stream as well. Sylvester Wilback, is it true that he's been signed? Not yet, but the reports that are coming out from Matla and other journalists have been, I mean, Jacob Steinberg as well. It's going to be a matter of hours, so we might hear it in this night itself, most probably, or at least my night in India. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of hours. CFC Gem says, you guys ain't ready for Crown Jewels. You will see the class of the boy, especially under Thomas Tuchel. That's exactly what I want to see. See, a lot of people have this common misconception where, they say if the defender is very short, then he's probably not going to be strong aerially. But then we've seen a lot of players who are strong aerially, but they're not the tallest of the defenders as well. Obviously, Premier League is a different beast and different animal, and you need your players to be physically strong. But physically strong doesn't mean that you have to be tall. That is something that is entirely different. And this person has been, I mean, when I say this person, I'm talking about Jules Koundé, has been good aerially, and we've seen that time and again. And if my guy can actually jump and clear balls and head the ball home for a Chelsea victory, I'm really fine with it. We've seen Thiago Silva, the way that he operates. He's not the tallest of defenders, but he knows exactly where exactly to position himself, and he has that good gaming intelligence, which I believe Jules Koundé is also going to bring into that squad. Let's not forget about the versatility. Obviously, he can play anywhere in that back line. Rebecca says, beyond excited for the Crown Jewels, amazing addition to Thomas Tuchel's tricky Blues. Yeah, I really wish we are a lot more tricky against this Arsenal team, because the Arsenal game is a bit, I'm not going to lie, it's a bit concerning for me given their recent signings and acquisition. One thing that I still have that confidence with Chelsea, if at all, that one thing that I have to talk about when it comes to the confidence that I have with Chelsea, is that Thomas Tuchel any day is a better manager than Mikel Arteta. So if Mikel Arteta is going to be having to bring in a tactic, if he is bringing in tactics, then I believe Thomas Tuchel at any given point in time can have or can deploy counter tactics for that and get our team through through to a victory. And that is exactly my hope as well. Not on my attackers right now at this point, because we all know, and I think Tebego will also confirm that we all know over the last 1.5 years, we've not seen the best of Chelsea's attackers. But Thomas Tuchel has been getting a job done for Chelsea some way or the other. And I believe that will once again happen against this Arteta's new look of Arsenal team. I'm really excited for the game as well. Chalaba, James, Colwell, Kounde, learning off of Koulibaly and Silva. Can we appreciate how fortunate we are in the defense? Absolutely, a completely new look defense. If you look at it, like we had Christensen, Rudiger, and Thiago Silva, in which yeah, Lewis is not here, so I can probably say this more authentically. We've got Christensen, who probably misses a lot of bigger matches because of his I'm not sure if it is anxiety, if it is something that happens to him during bigger game days, but then stomach pain, a lot of other pain during big match days. That is something that Christensen has always been accused of, and has been a contender for that as well. But then you won't get those things with players like Koulibaly and Jules Koundé. These are strong characters in the defense, rather than not just talking about them as the players on the pitch. They are strong characters in and out of the game. When you have these strong mentality characters in that defense, obviously the defense is going to go at a different level, and that's exactly my expectation for Chelsea this season as well. Are you sure we are going to get this Kounde deal over the line? I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing this. Don't take my word for it. Maybe Matla, and Jacob Steinberg, Simon Phillips, and these journalists are right now confirming it. It's just a matter of hours. We've not got it over the line yet, but we are pretty sure we're going to be getting this over the line in the next um, 12 hours, 13 hours. It's just a matter of hours, guys. Daniel Crane as well is here, one of the regulars for the channel. Big up, VJ, bro. Hope you're well. Yes, I am doing well. Hope you're doing good as well, Daniel. Thanks for coming in and joining the stream as well. Now, Tobago, over to you on this topic where Jules Koundé's aerial ability has been put to question by a lot of people because he is 5'10". Do you think he can cope to Premier League? I personally think he can. But do you think that is something that the people, who are watching Premier League are taking too much into account? Is it something that should not be given a lot of weightage as much as people right now are giving weightage to?
To be honest, from my side, I think
Yep.
like people like to judge players because like they're playing for other leagues, and then stats are showing like aerially, Jules Koundé is good, and then his jump, man, this guy is it's like he's having springs. So I think fans they should, for example, they should let this guy play. They'll judge him after like few games and stuff because like they don't. I think like they're not watching this kid playing. And again, for example, if you people know Cannavaro from Italy, he was so short, but again he was so good. So sometimes I would say height is not important as long you can fit to how we play and do the job well, man. That's what we all asking for.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well, Fabio Cannavaro, who's another Italian defender, not so much tall, but then he can do the job better than most of any of the Premier League defenders. Of course, I mean, see, that's the thing. It's not always straightforward as what people would imagine. Maybe the tall defenders are the ones who can only get the job done. It's not very linear as such. It's something that is more of the player's mentality and the adaptability factor that also comes into play. I believe Jules Koundé has a very strong mentality. We all saw how rash and rugged he was against Barcelona in a couple of games as well, when he threw the ball at Jordi Alba in one of those games to get a red card. He got a red card, though. I understand that's not something that you would want to see for him in Chelsea. And obviously his temperament is a bit of a question mark because in the last season alone he's got close to 3 red cards. That's something you could consider a bit of a concern. But I'm pretty sure Thomas Tuchel is going to get the best out of him. Also, make sure that he is tuned in terms of the mentality. And if you need one top class defender to calm you down when you are in that back line, who better than Thiago Silva? When you have Thiago Silva around you, you don't have to probably react in the way that you have to react when you are at Sevilla, right? Because you've got Thiago Silva who's going to keep the game under a good calm and composure. He brings in that composure into the game, and he brings that composure to the entire defense. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of learning as well for Kounde from Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. Two experienced centre back combining with Kounde. This is obviously a dream backline for Chelsea Football Club. And how fortunate are we to have this backline, as Rebecca mentioned as well. Also, guys, on a lighter note, I'm seeing Manchester United fans as well in Twitter supporting this particular win of Chelsea against Barcelona in terms of the signing for Kounde. The reason why they are supporting us is because they are having a bad experience with Frankie De Jong situation, and they want desperately Barcelona to see a loss at least in one situation in this transfer market. And it's been all Barcelona crazy signings all over this particular transfer market, and they, for a change as well, want to see a Barcelona loss. So when Chelsea is on the verge of getting a successful deal signed over Barcelona, they are also coming in and appreciating Chelsea Football Club for that. Congrats and good luck to Todd Boehly as well for making sure that this is something uh, that is happening right now. Because without Todd Boehly, talking to Barcelona, making sure the deal is going through, talking to Sevilla as well, this is not going to be going anywhere. So I believe the American leadership right now who's come in for Chelsea are moving at a good speed, at a good pace in getting the deal signed off for Chelsea. This is their third signing, and they've already had a marquee signing in Raheem Sterling, his first male signing of the season for Todd Boehly as well. Male player of the Chelsea lineup to be added. So that's something that a lot of Chelsea fans fail to appreciate, that goes underappreciated because of the previous era that we had. Obviously, Roman Abramovich was a lot successful in terms of how he, ran this club. Maybe Todd Boehly is not going to run the same way that Roman was running this club, but obviously he has a different way of getting things done, and he has a different dimensions to him looking at Chelsea and getting the decisions made. And I believe Todd Boehly is one such owner who looks at Chelsea not just as a club that is just for winning, but also a very good investment opportunity. And he is probably going to take Chelsea in the right direction. Until now, he's been doing things extremely well. And I'm really impressed with how Todd Boehly is moving in this transfer market. Also, I see Tebago having a question for me. Please go on, Tebago.
Okay, before answering your question, uh, if people really did a research about Todd Boehly and the new owners, they should have known what they are getting. But again, some people are lazy to do some research and stuff, because I've done my research on all potential owners, and I wanted Saudi media or Todd Boehly. But again, on Todd Boehly, it's all about structure. It's what I love about him. From all his teams, is owning. So look, we are in a good hands. But again, my question is if we are getting Jules Koundé soon, is it necessary to get another centre back, or just promote Ampadu and Colwell, or either one of them?
Okay, that's an interesting question, actually. And it's obviously a debatable answer that I'm probably going to give you. I would probably go for another midfielder and an attacker signing. I consider a midfielder signing to be more of a priority now if the Jules Koundé deal is done. So I would probably go for a midfielder and an attacker, not waste my time anymore on the defensive front. I'm pretty sure we can get our defensive boys from the academy promoted and run the season with this new look defense that we have. Obviously, we have Chilwell back and Reece James back, and these people, they're not players who just can play in the wing backs. They can obviously shift to center backs and can support the back line as well at times if we decide to go for a back four. So I'm guessing, or I would prefer Chelsea to move for a midfielder, or and a striker. post this and close this defensive chapter for now. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I agree because like all I'm saying, if we are going to get Jules Koundé, is Kounde, Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, you still have Chaloba can play, and then Empad is versatile. He can play as a centre back or a DM, and then also man Malansa. I don't want to talk about him, but Malansa, what can we do?
All right,
So
Malik
it's,
sir,
it's,
that's something that that can go either way. I believe Chelsea will be struggling a bit harder to even loan him out this season. But if we manage to do that, I'm fine with it. If he decides to stay as well, it just gives us a bit of a defensive, depth. Maybe we use him for cup
yes,
competitions alone, because Malang Sarr is not probably one of those players who's going to be demanding Champions League football and Premier League regular minutes. So he might be settled, for FA Cup games and Carabao Cup games as well, if that comes to it. So it really isn't a problem, or it really isn't a concern for me Langsar to be staying in the club. Nick
yes,
Knack as well comes up with a very good point here. Anyone who's watched European or the international football for the last 10 years will know exactly how good Koulibaly is. Absolutely. Koulibaly has been one splendid defender, and we will be obviously lucky to have him. I saw a compilation video of Koulibaly very recently that was posted in the Twitter, and his defensive sliding tackles have been relentless and has been successful most times. And one thing that you get out of those defensive tackles, when he slides for the ball, he makes sure to have close contact with the ball. It's not that he defends and he slides and the ball goes somewhere else. Maybe it goes to another player. He makes sure that the ball is still on his feet, even if he dives and slides for the ball. That's something that is very important when you look at the defensive play. The way that you should be diving, you should be having close contact with the ball and just not lose the ball, which might lead to the ball moving to another player. And if you're playing that sort of a dangerous play in the defensive box, then you might lead to a penalty, or it might also lead to another player scoring a goal somewhere. So good work from Koulibaly in terms of defense all along until now, and I hope he does the same with Chelsea Football Club as well. He also has another question for me. He says, Vijay, are you expecting any more big signings after the Kounde deal is done? You know what? I tweeted this out as well today. Not in terms of signing. I definitely see a lot of outgoings to be happening after this particular deal of Kounde is done. And one important thing could be, though I am not necessarily a fan of this particular deal going through, we might see Broja departing to West Ham United. Like I told you, Todd Boehly looks at Chelsea as a business and not as a just a football club where he just keeps pumping in the money. So he would obviously try and balance the book as much as possible. And if he's getting this Kounde deal through the line, he obviously will be trying a Broja move as well in terms of outgoing, because right now, from what we're hearing from our Chelsea close contacts and journalists, is that Chelsea has been really struggling in terms of releasing Deadwoods out of the club, and that's been a point of concern for Todd Boehly and team to deal with. So we might see Broja going out, but in terms of incoming signing, I believe your question was more focused towards the incoming. um, you know what? I see one more big deal happening. Uh, maybe, just maybe, um, the De Jong deal. There is a bit of an interest from Chelsea there. Obviously, De Jong is
yes,
not
I've said
as
it.
interested. Exactly, De Jong is not as interested in Manchester United as that of any other club. But you know, Chelsea is a different breed. Manchester United right now, though they are a very big team, they still are not playing in the Champions League at all, right? So that's definitely a minus when it comes to joining a club like Manchester United. Not to say that Eric Ten Hag cannot bring this club to a Champions League spot once again, but that's probably going to take another year. Would Frank De Jong really want to gamble with Eric Ten Hag that he will get him to the Champions League playing team in the next 1 year? What if it does not happen? We've seen Manchester United keep on shuffling managers after Alex Ferguson has gone. It's close to five
Breaking
managers now.
news.
Oh, is it?
Medlo just said Jules Koundé is about to join Chelsea.
Matt Law. Okay. Guys, just reiterating what Tobago just said. I'm also going to look into Matt Law's Twitter account right now. Yeah, he has released an article 2 minutes back, and he says Kounde set to become Chelsea's third summer signing in a deal that could give Azpilicueta the green light to go. Wow, I did not expect this. This was a three-way deal where Azpilicueta will be moving to Barcelona if Kounde is joining us. Good to know that, because obviously Azpilicueta, a very good servant for Chelsea Football Club, joined us in 2013. Obviously was not part of the Chelsea Champions League winning squad in the 2012 season, but then managed to get another Champions League trophy for himself. And he did obviously a splendid job as a captain, as a leader for Chelsea Football Club. Not the quickest of defenders, not the neatest of defenders, not the fastest of defenders again, but he knew what to be done at what times, and he showed that leadership capability, making sure that the defensive line was always structured. Thank you so much, Azpilicueta, for all that you've done. We only wish you all the best when you move to Barcelona. No regrets. No issues like how we sent across Thibaut Courtois. So we don't have any issues like that. We still on good terms with Azpilicueta. But that's the news that we have, guys. Kounde moving in the right direction for Chelsea. Hope the saga may be coming towards the end, says Matt Law. 2 hours back, that was tweeted. And 2 minutes back, Matt Law again tweets, and he also writes an article for Telegraph. He says, Kounde set to become Chelsea's third summer signing in a deal that could give Azpilicueta the green light to go. And that's the tweet. That's the news right now that we hear from Matt Law. Obviously, he is someone who is in the know for Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, he's not someone who's a Chelsea fan. Don't get me wrong. So you get news that are more authentic from a non-Chelsea journalist, because he knows Chelsea and he doesn't relate Chelsea emotionally. He's an Aston Villa fan. He relates to Chelsea more, on just the news aspect of it and not on the emotional side of it. And that's why you can see sometimes Matt Law's tweet being a lot more negative. I've heard a lot of complaints against Matt Law where people say it's always negative news that is being reported by Matt Law. But then Matt Law is definitely someone who is on the know-how, and he is come out on Telegraph with an article saying that Chelsea's third summer signing is imminent, and Kounde is going to be that person giving way to Azpilicueta, and that's Azpilicueta move to Barcelona. We've got PB Talks as well, a good channel. Please check that out as well. Hello, Nanba. Hope you're doing well. Arsenal Chelsea review on tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. We'll be doing a match preview tomorrow, and it's going to be really an interesting game. We'll obviously be discussing about both the signings, Gabriel Jesus, and starting from there, we'll be talking about their signings as well. It's definitely going to be an interesting conversation. Hopefully, we get that through. And on the lighter note, we also have a very special guest on this channel to start off this particular season for us. Lawrence Vescoli. For you guys who don't know Lawrence, please check out Lawrence Vescoli, a very famous YouTuber based out of Austria, does a lot of Chelsea content, will be joining us live for a pre-match show against Everton, which will be our first pre-match show, the Premier League game, the first Premier League game as well. This happens on 4th of August, 4:30 p.m. UK time is what we have decided. We'll soon be releasing posters and improving content or context into it. But Lawrence is going to be joining us soon, and that will be our big name to start off with for this particular season. Daniel Crane says Jules Koundé is set to become Chelsea's third summer training after the club agreed to pay Sevilla 55 million for the defender, which could see Kounde signing a 5-year contract at Stamford Bridge. On the same note, I want to ask you one more question, Tobago, on the length of this contract. This is something that we obviously have to focus on. With Kounde, I understand he's not that aged, so giving him a 5-year contract does make sense. But I heard from a lot of Chelsea fans in Twitter, in especially in Twitter Spaces, having concerns over giving a huge contract, the length of the contract being 5 years for even Koulibaly, 31 years of age already, and by a 5-year contract, he's obviously going to be at 36 years. Is that something that is a bit of a worry for Chelsea, or should did Chelsea really drop the ball there in terms of giving a long contract there, or is it still fine to do it?
To be honest, with Koulibaly, I think it's a good deal for us because, like, remember Koulibaly, if he was going to move from Napoli to another team, he wanted maybe he wanted a long-term contract, a team that will value him. So for us, it's a win-win situation. For example, he's 31 years old, and maybe you can use him for 3 years, and then if his legs are still good, we can use him in other years. And again, we need experienced players. So maybe, for example, after 34 years, 35, he won't playing in like most of the game, but we need some player who's is experienced just to tell the boys, just to motivate the boys. Because after John Terry left Chelsea, we haven't got people like that. I know Thiago Silva is a leader, but again, he was struggling with English style. But again, maybe his English is better now. So with Koulibaly, I think that's a win-win situation for us. And then what I love about Todd Boehly, various players that he wants. So I think that's why we won the Koulibaly race.
Makes sense. And that's a good point that you bring about in terms of the leadership capability. He was, again, given the same number as that of John Terry, 26. We all know, that famous 26 number. It's been the best number for Chelsea Football Club. Our own Chelsea captain, the legend of Chelsea, John Terry, wore that number previously, and Koulibaly is set to be getting that number as well. Nick Nack says that 5 years is fairly a standard contract, and if you're paying a lot of money, a short contract is a risk on its own. I agree to that. But do you think that was the reason why Koulibaly was so, fine with actually joining this club? See, again, when you give players who are above 30 years old a longer contract, generally tends to make them feel a lot more secure in terms of their earnings, right? It does make a lot of sense because they are obviously a depreciating asset. When they move to that 34, 35, they might get a bit of injury concerns as well. So they're not looking for a contract which is just high paying for them for a short period of time. A long term contract is something that people after 30 years will be looking at, because that just gives them a lot of security and safety. And most of the people, or most of the players above 30 are usually married, so they tend to secure their future for their family as well. They look into the family aspect of things as well. Settling down with the club is something that they would be obviously looking at, and maybe that is also the situation for Koulibaly as well. And I feel there is nothing wrong in the way that in the way that the player are thinking about that. But for Chelsea, this definitely is a new thing, because usually Chelsea do not give contracts, a long-term contract at least, for players who are above 30 years. We've seen this against top level players as well. The players were struggling to definitely get long-term contracts with Chelsea, and we had that issue in the past. I think the new ownership is trying to rectify that, and that's a good sign and a welcome sign, a welcome addition as well, because we know that with age comes a lot of maturity and a lot of game sense and a lot of thought process, and people looking for stability, which means they feel more as a family with Chelsea. And those are the kind of players who make a very good alumni for Chelsea. And I for one, think Koulibaly is definitely a huge addition for Chelsea on that aspect of things. Daniel also says, now we all wait for here we go. Yeah, exactly. People are waiting for that Fabrizio Romano's here we go. And he's been reporting about Southampton right now and Leeds and all that. And it's just frustrating me because right now he needs to be reporting about Chelsea. But Fabrizio's last tweet about, this situation on Kounde was that, things have been progressing in a positive way, and Chelsea are leading this race to be signing Jules Koundé. Nick Nack says it's Koulibaly's case. It's the same. It was probably necessary to get the deal done, because of the longevity, obviously, and that's definitely a welcome addition. Koulibaly, once again mentioning that, guys. We've got 80 people right now watching us live across multiple platforms: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We are live on all these three social media platforms. Wherever you're watching from, obviously I know all these three apps have one thing in common, which is that like button. So please press that like button if you like the stream, if you like what we're talking here about Chelsea. You guys know that we will be bringing on regular content to the stream as well. Let's try and hit that 50 like mark as well. Right now in YouTube, we've crossed 23 likes, and we're going forward as well. So let's get that 50 like mark as well, guys. But it's going it's going on in a positive note when it comes to this particular deal with Kounde. And another topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I've made a note of it all in the diary today because I wanted this to be all discussed you know pretty thoroughly. This is on journalism in general. Yeah. I do have a bit of an issue when it comes to journalism, where people in Twitter generally do not just comment on just the Twitter, the content that they get from the clubs, but they also add their own views to it. Right? I'm talking about none other than the Barcelona journalist Gerard Romero. I'm not saying that he, did something completely wrong and all that, but in the way that he's expressing certain comments, I think it should be better dealt with as a professional journalist who brings information to this public forum, be it Twitter, your news outlets, anything, be it. You are a journalist and you're expected to inform people and not expected to create news, right? There is a difference between creating news and informing whatever is the news. So I believe that is something that journalists, sports journalists especially, should be taken care of, because a lot of times it could be a lot misleading for these fans, not just with the Chelsea fan base or the Barcelona fan base. When sports journalists get things wrong, their credibility as well goes out in the market. We all saw what happened with Nizar Kansela when he reported about the Saudi acquisition, the probability of a Saudi acquisition, when it came to Chelsea a couple of months before, which never got materialized. So this journalism, where sports journalism, where you try to create news instead of just informing the news, is something I think a lot of journalists needs to be taking in as well. But I'm also seeing on the comment section, on the lighter note, can I be a 200 subscriber? Yes, of course you can be. Okay, your subscription was 205. That's completely fine. We will be reaching 300, 400, and I believe you guys contributing to the channel is a lot more important. You still can be our 50th like if you have not yet liked the stream. So please go ahead and wait for that, or do that if it is not yet done. That is something that I'd like to talk about, the journalism side of things. Tibago, your comments on the journalism part of things, where today there was a specific comment from Gerard Romero, who actually came out and said about the Karma Kounde deal, where he said, that is something we should be doing, so that Barcelona, Kounde feels a lot more attracted towards Barcelona and not Chelsea. I don't think so. Journalists are expected to do that. Journalists are expected to report the news and inform the news. But what do you think about this particular scenario where Romero came out in support of Barcelona and just, spewed out these sort of comments and, being a very supportive journalist? Like, Not that our journalists are not doing the same, but I would expect our journalists to be more professional than to be a Chelsea journalist, if you understand what I mean.
I agree. You- when I think about Gerard Moreno, I'm thinking about those dance moves he's doing on Twitch. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
But
Moreno.
again,
Sorry, I got the name now.
yes, Gerard Moreno. So, man, like I don't know. Truly speaking, I don't understand this guy. Yes, he might be reliable in terms of Barcelona, but again, things he's saying sometimes are not clear. Like sometimes you feel like you are lost. I think, man, I don't know. I don't know this guy. Like, did he got a chance just to play on his childhood? Oh man, things he's doing on Twitch, man, are crazy. If you really watch him on Twitch, you laugh alone. So I think because when I'm bored, I go on Twitch and watch him because I know I will laugh. So I think sometimes this guy is not professional, but maybe he trusts his sources. Maybe saying maybe other deals will be done, but again, on Jules Koundé one, he got it wrong because like he thought the Jules Koundé one was like Rafinha. Sevilla will wait just like Leeds, and they told Leeds to wait until they be able to bid for Rafinha. For Rafinha one, they already had agreement way before us. So with Jules Koundé, it was a 50-50 situation, and then we were the one who paid more money, and then Barcelona won't match us. Unfortunately, a lot of teams won't match us. For example, if we wanted delete, I don't think Bayern would have beat us. So I think that was a smart move, just moving away from that deal because like it will take a lot of our budget money because like reports were saying we're going to spend 200 or 250, and if you're going to use 90 or 80 to one player, man, I don't want that anymore. We don't want that anymore after Lukaku situation.
I agree to that. I agree to that. I mean, yeah, his Twitch streams are a lot more funny. I've seen that, and sometimes I laugh at that as well. But on the lighter note, I also wanted to talk about a couple of outgoings. This is a bit concerning for me, but I never got a chance to talk to you about this Broja deal, like, with West Ham United. My question to you guys, on the chat as well, and definitely for Tobago as well. When you don't even have a proper striker, a proper number nine at Chelsea, you can still argue Havertz is a bit flexible number nine. Maybe you call it a false number nine. Yeah. But there is no ideal striker, ideal number nine in this Chelsea system right now. When you are in that position, is it is it making any business sense for you to sell someone like Armando Broja? I'm not saying Armando Broja is a grade one striker capable of playing at Chelsea right now at this point in time. He is someone who I consider, or I would consider, having the potential to play for Chelsea someday. But right now, from what I can understand, looking at the squad of Chelsea, we don't have a striker, right? We don't literally have a striker. So for you to play a strikerless system, see, you basically cram for room now. You can only play a strikerless system, right? Thomas Tuchel can only deploy a strikerless system and expect he performs the same way as that of how Pep performed. Though I understand modern football is developing in such a way that you're not reliant on the traditional number nines like that of an Andy Carroll or Karim Benzema anymore. Maybe Karim Benzema is the last traditional, number nine that you could, probably see at this point in time. I am still not sure if your wingback system is something that is created with having in mind a false nine striker. I believe that will be a lot more effective with a traditional number nine playing in that squad. And who better to do that than Armando Broja at this point in time when you've not made any acquisition? So, my question is a two-part question to you, Tobacco. The first question is it right from Chelsea to sell Armando Broja to West Ham United at this given point in time? And the second part of that question is that if at all Armando Broja moves to West Ham United, could we see another top class striker coming into Chelsea Football Club in this particular window? Over to you.
To be honest, like I don't think Armando Broja will go, because like I've saw a report from Fabrizio Romano. I think it was yesterday, saying that Tuchel is really blocking this deal for Broja to go. Even Tuchel said it. He don't want Broja to go. He told him not to go. But again, if Broja will push his move to go elsewhere, man, I don't know. I don't know which striker we are going to get. But again, I've saw a tweet from is what I mean. I've got the RJ journalist. I don't know his name, but he calls himself RJ journalist on Twitter. So he said,
Jacob Steinberg? Is it Jacob Steinberg?
I'm not sure. I'll just check his name. And then he
Okay.
said Chelsea are looking to get this other guy from man, I don't know. It's Terry, something Terry. I'll just recall the name. I'll let you know. But again, if you saw the second preseason game, the first half, I'm not saying we need to keep him, but the movement of Barcelona was doing, we need a striker like that, but also that striker that will be clinical, because Barcelona was good, but it's not clinical. That's my issue. But his movement, wow, his movement, I love this movement. We need a mobile striker, not a striker that will sit there waiting for pass. It's not working like that anymore. So, but again, I'm not sure we're going to get a striker this summer, unless we've got surprise from the new owners and Thomas Tuchel. But again, I don't want us to waste money on 70 plus strikers anymore. Like I'm tired of that. I rather force Armando Broja to stay, to be honest. And also, if you're going to keep Kai Havertz as our first nine, man, I need Kai Havertz to work on his finishing, because if you can work on his finishing, then we are good. Because I'm not confident that throughout the season, Kai Havertz will do us the job that we need. Because
Can
like
be a top,
we'll end up,
can be
yes,
more regular is what you're trying to say. I get that. See, another point with that particular point that you made as well is that, see, you brought in a very good point when it comes to modern striker. You need a striker who's more mobile, who could actually try and play with the wings as well, at times combining with the wing backs as well as playing with patterns of play. That is something that you don't get out of a traditional striker. Traditional strikers are people like Andy Carroll, like who I mentioned, who's more eloquent in the air and can able to finish through balls at times, and who can run into the spaces. That is exactly what you see as a traditional profile. But modern profile expects you to combine with the wingers and also sometimes with the defenders, drop deep, and support your midfielders at times, and contribute to the patterns of play. I think Kai Havertz has that intelligence to do that, but he still doesn't have that finishing, like how you mentioned. We saw his inability to finish the chance during the counter attack in the first match. If you remember that particular pass that was from Hakim Ziyech to Kai Havertz, it was one-on-one with Ochoa, and then he put it over the bar. Right, it was just a one-on-one with a goalkeeper, a Mexican goalkeeper to be precise. And if you cannot finish that chance, then you really have a problem playing as a number 9 in the Premier League. That's a bit concerning as well. But before we move on to discuss further on this particular topic, let me read out a few comments as well. Pradeep Janathan says, British journalists were neutral, but Barca journalists were indirectly putting pressure on Laporte to get the deal done. I'm your new subscriber. Thank you, first of all, for being my new subscriber. Appreciate you, subscribing to the channel. We'll have regular content posted. Stay tuned with the channel. Now, coming to the point that you made, this is exactly what I want to hear from our journalists. I want my journalists to be reporting what is the information. I don't want you guys to create information, right? Matt Love, for some reasons, he's an Aston Villa journalist. I mean, he's an Aston Villa fan who's reporting on Chelsea. Nizar Kansala is not again a Chelsea fan. Jacob Steinberg, not a Chelsea fan. Simon Phillips, yeah, you can say he is a Chelsea fan, but then he doesn't report directly on a lot of news. He basically retweets, news on, from the top tier one journalists, right? So these journalists try to report whatever is being provided or whatever information they know. They don't try to create and spin off information. That is exactly what Barcelona was trying to do, and they were actually indirectly trying to put pressure on Laporta to actually get this deal done for Kounde. But I think Barcelona right now are not really in a financial position to make that sort of a move, though they have reportedly activated their second economic lever, which also gives them an additional 15% leverage on the financial transfer fees. But also this gives them a 15% of media rights to be sold to Sixth Sense, who is their media partner, who will be acquiring the media rights for Barcelona. Here you should also remember one more point. They have already sold 25% of their media rights to Sixth Sense. Right now, an additional 15% will make it 40% of the media rights of Barcelona being sold to a private investment company called Sixth Sense. And that is a bit of a struggle, if you ask me, because media rights is very important to your revenue. If you look at any club statements, the club statements will always have the media rights income as your maximum revenue, not your t-shirt sales, not your in-house ticketing. When I say in-house ticketing through your stadiums, those are not your major revenue stream. Your major revenue stream is always your media rights and your broadcasting rights. Yeah. So I think the deal that Barcelona are trying to do right now is not something that is more fallible in the future. Not sure how they're going to be managing, but it's again Barcelona. Let's not worry too much about Barcelona. DJ Savage also says, for me, VJ, I think Werner could leave ahead of Broja. TT has already confirmed Broja is going nowhere. Werner more at risk with his latest outburst comments. TT not happy with him at all. This is a good point. We will definitely circle back to this particular point from DJ Savs. But before that, Daniel Crane also says, Ben Jacobs' tweet, people. I'm going to look at Ben Jacobs, what he's tweeted. Here is another example for a good journalist. I mean, he's not tweeting some rubbish. Sometimes you could also expect false information from Matt Law, but Ben Jacobs is usually right about things, at least most of the times. And he confirms news before he tweets. So yeah, this is a tweet from Ben Jacobs. I'm going to put that on the screen as well for you guys to take a look at it. This is Ben Jacobs' tweet from 4 minutes ago. Thank you, Daniel Crane, for letting us know. So here we are. Let me just zoom in on that so you guys can look at it more. Yeah, I hope you guys can read it from there. If you're not able to read it, it's completely fine. I'm going to read it out to you guys. Ben Jacobs, 4 minutes before, tweets that Jules Koundé will sign a contract with Chelsea until 2027, having already agreed personal terms. CFC have fought off competition from Barcelona, who haven't made a formal counteroffer since they couldn't match Chelsea's 55 million. Only formalities remain between Chelsea and Sevilla, with a green tick towards the end. This green tick symbolizes that the deal is done, guys. This is definitely a tier one journalist reporting on that particular information. Ben Jacobs has come out and says the Jules Koundé deal is done. Will sign a contract with Chelsea until 2027, and he's already agreed the personal terms. Of course, we don't know more on the specifics of the personal terms yet, but he also goes on to say Barcelona has not even made a formal counteroffer on Chelsea's 55 million bid yet. There you go, guys. That's a very intriguing thing. Ben Jacobs reporting it. Thank you so much, Daniel Crane, for confirming it. Now, like I told you guys, it's just a matter of a few hours before we hear it from um, the um, transfer guru, Fabrizio Romano itself. Tobago, thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, we would love to have you here for future streams as well. For other people who want to come in and have your say, you guys know Sportswire has always historically been an open stream channel where you guys can come in and participate and have your say. That is the link on the chat window. If you want to come in and have your say, talk to me about Chelsea's transfer on or anything Chelsea, please feel free to hop in through the stream, and you guys can find me at Sportswire, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, across all platforms, guys. Basically, Tevago, you still there? Any final words before you? I think
Just give me
Tevago's
2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
All right. So Tobago will be joining us in 2 minutes. But guys, for people who are right now joining, Ben Jacobs has come out to say that Chelsea has already, or Jules Koundé will be signing a contract with Chelsea until 2027. It's just a matter of a few hours before the deal is going through. And let's move on to the next topic, the topic that we're actually trying to discuss. This is more on Timo Werner here, right? An interesting point that was brought in by DJ
Vijay,
Couch. Yeah.
Vijay, before I go, my final thoughts. I'm happy that now Medlo just told us, broken the news that Jules Koundé is coming to Chelsea, because like he is one of the best reliable sources when it comes to Chelsea. So when you see him, I'm happy. Hopefully we get him soon. Official statement from the club, man. I'm so happy about this, man. Big up also VJ. People in the chat, make sure you hit like the button, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for having me, man. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow in other streams. Thank you, man.
Absolutely a pleasure to have you here as well, Tobago. Stay tuned with the channel. Carry on with your work. Thank you so much for joining in the stream. All right, guys. Now getting back to this Werner topic. The Werner topic is another interesting fact. One for a couple of reasons, obviously. The first reason being Werner is not someone who's on a lighter wage, right? He's on 272K a week, if I remember the numbers correctly. He's on 272K a week. We spend 272K euros a week for a striker who doesn't even know where the post is. Yeah, or he at least knows where the post is and he hits the ball on the post and now never scores a goal. So that's always been a bit of a concern on Timo Werner. He obviously brings a different dimension to the game, but as a striker, as a winger, how far can your fans keep on defending the work that you're actually doing on the pitch if you're not scoring or if you're not translating them into goals? That's not something that we guys can keep on doing it. Yeah, for the first 6 months you came from a new league, we understood you found it hard to adapt to Premier League. Yeah, we gave you time. The second year you still did the same, but you were so nice to the people, so nice to the fans. Romelu Lukaku, another striker, was talking rubbish in the media. So compared to Romelu Lukaku, you were obviously a lot better. You seemed a lot better for us, who's been completely out of form and still managing to not come out to the media and talk something bad about Chelsea. But right now, there's no points where we can actually back you. So Timo Werner is someone who could well be out of the Chelsea squad, and I understand and completely relate with what DJ Sav says as well. TT has actually come out and said Broja is more important to the squad. He's not said Broja is more important than Werner to the squad, but he has in fact mentioned that Broja's importance to the squad is phenomenal or is very important, and he is going to be an important player in the squad. So basically what it also tells us is that Broja is someone that Thomas Tuchel is looking forward to having in the squad. It's basically Broja who wants to move out from Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea right now, because he feels a bit threatened about his position. If Kai Havertz or any one of those strikers, finds their form and he doesn't get any opportunities, but Broja should be looking at staying at Chelsea, because he knows for a fact that he if he can prove the best of his value, of his market, of his worth in this particular season, he is probably going to be Chelsea's number one attacker for the next year as well. Romelu Lukaku, who has gone on loan, might also keep on extending his loan for the second year and the third year, if he gets a very good performance at Inter Milan. So he doesn't have to be threatened by Romelu Lukaku at Inter Milan, who might come back to Chelsea and might be in contention with Broja. I don't think so. That is something that he should be afraid of at this point in time. You are a young lad who signed a contract last year for a 5-year deal. Just make sure that you play for Chelsea the way that you usually play. Do not feel threatened by the other players around you. Yeah, obviously they're all Champions League winners. They've got plenty of trophies with them, but this is a squad that is young as well. You've got your own lads. Playing next to you, Mason Mount, Reece James, Trevor Chalobah. You've played with all these people in your academy days. You're going to be reintegrated with this particular Chelsea squad, and you should be feeling proud and happy to play at Chelsea, the club that has put in so much effort for you and has made sure to sign and give you a 5-year contract, trusting your ability, and allowing you to go on a loan for a for a Premier League club at Southampton, where you were able to excel to the best of your abilities as well. It's time for you to shine in the Chelsea Blues, and Chelsea Blues and the fans of Chelsea obviously will be very much happy to have you at Chelsea, because it's been a very long time, and this is directly to Broja. If you're actually watching the stream, which I think is highly unlikely, but still, if at all you're watching the stream, it's been very long time since Didier Drogba. We've not had a proper number 9. Diego Costa, of course, is in contention, but number 9 is not being our, good suit, right? And if you can change that luck, I think Chelsea fans will be ever grateful to you. Tuchel has said he wants to keep Broja, hasn't he? It's going to be down to the player to decide where his future lies. And I think this particular injury that he picked up before this preseason has come at a very wrong time for Broja as well, because he would have expected to impress Thomas Tuchel in this particular preseason where he fell injured, and that's not helping his case as well, because right now Broja also might be feeling a lot more threatened and insecure about his position, given that he missed those preseason games where he could have impressed Thomas Tuchel. Now asking for a place in the playing 11 in the Premier League game is going to be a lot more difficult if he's not yet proved himself on the preseason games. That's probably where he is coming from as well. Nick Nack says that a 1-in-3 strike rate isn't terrible in the Premier League, especially if there are other forward players who score 10 to 15 goals a season as well. Yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, he's by any means Broja is not a bad striker, even in the context of other Premier League teams, and especially for Chelsea, with the record that we have with strikers, he obviously is a better choice. All I say in terms of the striker, let us not shut the door on Ronaldo possibly moving to us. There has been a lot of talk on this and all the denial at the moment. All I say is watch this space. Interesting point again. Cristiano Ronaldo, who's on 500K a week, not to just bring the finances into the equation. He definitely has scored across all formats, 24 goals for Manchester United last season. And the record also indicates that without Ronaldo's goal, Manchester United has never won even a single game the previous season. All that it says is the importance of Cristiano Ronaldo to Manchester United, even at this level in his career. 67 years old, still one of the most important players whenever he is on the pitch, be it for any team, be it Manchester United, Real Madrid, Juventus, whichever team he's played for. Ronaldo is definitely an icon of football history, and he will remain ever so an icon in the sports arena. But is Cristiano Ronaldo the right signing for Chelsea Football Club at this point in time? I am not really sure about that. See, even Cristiano Ronaldo can say that. I mean, he has actually come out and says that he's ready to take a wage cut. He's ready to take a wage cut to join any top club. See, the point for Cristiano Ronaldo right now is that he might miss out on Champions League games. Yeah, and he is in contention with Kylian Mbappe, Messi's and Lewandowski's of the world for the individual player contribution awards and trophies as well. And if he's going to be missing out on the highest, game or highest competition in Europe, which is the Champions League football, he definitely will be not in contention with these top level strikers. Now, since that Erling Haaland as well has joined in the top level, a top level team, obviously he's going to be also in contention for those individual trophies. Definitely, Manchester United is not in a position to provide Ronaldo a Champions League football, but he is looking for a Champions League football at this point in time, and that's why you can see him skipping those, Manchester United preseason training. At the same time, his um, agent also coming in and offering him to multiple clubs. So I am not sure how Manchester United will feel about giving out Cristiano Ronaldo, though I don't think so. The fees will be huge. 13-14 million is I think is what the fee Manchester United are asking for. But 500k a week, even if he takes or if he manages or if he wants to take a wage cut, will probably end up having 400k a week, which will still be a heavy or a hefty fee in terms of the Chelsea books. But this was a tweet that was tweeted by DJ Savage, and DJ Savage has actually come on the stream to give us his perception on what he thinks about Cristiano Ronaldo to Chelsea Football Club. Over to you, DJ Savage. What do you think about
Hey,
Ronaldo coming to Chelsea?
hey,
How are you,
big up
first
to
of all?
you. I'm good, BJ. How are you, bro? Good to see you back streaming again.
Yeah.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah, all good, buddy. All good.
That's good. Now, listen, I know it sounds like a mad thing out there. So anyone that's reading the comments in the comment section, don't come at me in a bad way. I just put it out there because there's been a lot of, I don't know if you guys have been hearing, there's been a lot of news in the last couple of, he does not want to come back to Manchester United. He's training on his own apparently in Portugal. He wants out. He's not going to come back. He's made that perfectly clear. And, it's just interesting to see a player of that caliber is going to have no football club. And I know people are talking about the wages and all that kind of stuff. I think what people have got to remember is a couple of weeks ago, Todd Boehly had a meeting with his agent, George Mendes. And he wasn't just obviously talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. They were talking about a load of other Portuguese players that are under his watch. And I do believe other names that were mentioned was obviously Rafael Leao from AC Milan. You also had, what's his name, from Atletico Madrid, João Felix from Atletico Madrid. And also, I think the other guy who was mentioned as well was Nunes from Sporting Lisbon, the midfielder. And Ronaldo's name also came up in that meeting. And apparently it was one of those. Obviously, he went in there to show an interest in one of them players. And I'm not saying Ronaldo is the guy, but I'm just looking at the situation with Ronaldo, and he's not, as I said, he's not going to come back to Manchester United. I know his wages is a major cur, even for maybe maybe for our new owners. But however, we also know that Todd Boehly does like to spend money on bigger. He did that. I think he did that with his baseball team. He doesn't mind paying if he needs to pay. And he'll bring in a superstar. And remember, I don't know if you guys can remember what he said. He wants to bring in at least one or two superstar signings to join this team. And I'm not saying Ronaldo is the answer. All I'm basically saying is that he could be up there. He could be one of them. That could be, as I mentioned. And that's the only reason why I put that one out there. So any Chelsea fans or any other fans that are not Chelsea fans on this stream watching, or anyone that's around, don't come at me. I'm just putting that one out there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm doing. And obviously, the half Portuguese in me obviously wants Ronaldo to come to Chelsea as well, because I think he'll be great. I think what a player to bring back to your team, what a player to have in your team, wherever the twilight of his career might be. But what a player to bring in, even if it's for a season or two. I think he'll do brilliant for us, and it'll be good for the younger players around him as well.
Absolutely. I was about to say to the people who are watching the stream, obviously that DJ Savage also has a bit of a Portuguese connection in the background. So points like this, when he talks about Portugal, you can obviously trust him on those communications because he's more closely related to that, and he kind of follows all top journalists and he gets the information as quick as possible. Sometimes I always talk to people like DJ Savage and other CFC pies who retweets and who tweets on provides their comments on that, because they also add their perception. They're not journalists, but they add their perception to it, and most of the time they are very valuable perceptions as well. Thank you, DJ, first of all, for bringing that up. And I think the comment that you're seeing right now on the chat kind of answers the financial part of it, right? Nick Nack says that Ronaldo's already taken a 25% wage cut on the 500k apparently, which makes it 375. And if he's trying to cut further than that, he could end up having a 325 or 320, which is probably lesser than that of Raheem Sterling. That would make it a really good signing. But I'm not still sure about this 25% wage cut on that 500k.
Yeah, this news. Yeah, sorry, go on. Sorry, VJ. No, go on. Finish.
I was about to say none of the sporting financial websites relevant to sports, right? They are reporting it on this 500k 25% cut. All I'm seeing is 500k still on the Manchester United books, and that's the reason why I'm not sure what the source is for this 25% wage cut. But if it was true, I think the financial part of it would be answered. Your thoughts on that?
No, listen, bro, you probably would know this more, mate, because I know you in finances, mate, you follow that very, very well. I know that from your previous streams you've been in, bro. You in the financial figures. Don't get me wrong, I work in finances as well, but I know you're on it 24/7 in terms of the finance and figures, and I've not come across that either from any recognised number one journalist. Unless Nick Nack knows who that person is, or if he can come up with it in his comment section, that would be great. It'd be good to know who's actually come out and said that, because if that is the case, then I tell you what, I'd get Ronaldo tomorrow. Seriously, I'd get. I mean, can you imagine at his age? I mean, the guy has still got it. Can you imagine the amount of shirt sales we'll make from that money that Todd Boehly's putting on him in terms of wage? You're talking about saying they won't put money in, but from shirt sales alone, that will put him back. That will get his money back, no problem. And don't forget, Ronaldo is a global brand. When I say global brand, he's a global name, I should say. Sorry, pardon my mistake there. He's a global name in the world of football, and anyone that has a Ronaldo shirt on the back of them, let's be honest, they're going to go like hotcakes. People are going to come. I can just imagine the store at Chelsea now. The store will just be completely finished with his shirts. They'll just go out of them very quickly. Go on.
What I just wanted to add to it was that on the Christian Pulisic topic as well. Imagine Christian Pulisic is already selling the highest number of T-shirt sales in North American region.
Yep.
And you have Ronaldo as well selling T-shirts for Manchester United, but he still was not able to overtake him, at least in the North American region. Now you have both of them in the same team. Imagine your shirt sales.
Mate, they'll be sky high. They'll be rocketing high, mate. And the thing of all is, I don't know if you also saw today. It's interesting to say, coming off the topic of players, I think you must have read it in some tweets today that went around. I do believe it was the guy from the Daily. What was his name? He was talking about Chelsea's expansion of Stamford Bridge and this thing that Todd Boehly has hired this girl who, I forgot the lady's name, who's hired someone to come and do an 800 million lookout or something like that of Stamford Bridge, a look over Stamford Bridge. Now, he's already talking about obviously updating the stadium. That for me in itself. So can you imagine updating the stadium, at some point, and then you've got the likes of a Pulisic and Ronaldo, Pulisic in terms of his shirt sales and Ronaldo shirt sales, that would just hit the roof sky high, mate. We'll do well. We can at least get 70,000 capacity crowd in if we can get that. Obviously we can get that kind of leeway. Obviously we need to get the planning permission to get that. But I know when the council permitted it last time, I do believe we could have gone up to 60,000. I'm not sure what it is now with around Stamford Bridge now.
It was valid until 2019, I believe. We missed out on doing that under Roman's era.
Yes, we did, and I think.
But I think this is the one that you're talking about.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. Martin Lipton. I was trying to get his name. Martin Lipton.
Yeah, Martin Lipton was the one who reported it. Chelsea owners are planning a staged rebuild of Stamford Bridge with stands being replaced and upgraded one by
Mm-hmm.
one. The hotel
Mm-hmm.
being the shed end would be destroyed, with
Mm-hmm.
Boehly appointing Janet Mary
That's
Smith
the
to
lady.
oversee the rebuild. That's the lady,
Spot on.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they're going to be planning to rebuild one stance at a time, right? One stance, they just
Correct.
demolish that one stance and then they rebuild it and then go for the next one. So which also means that we're not moving away from Stamford Bridge.
Correct.
What it
Correct.
actually
That's
tells
exactly.
us is that we're still going to be working in Stamford Bridge.
It is, mate. And that's exactly it. And for me, it'd be great for me because I'm, as you know, I'm a season ticket holder. I sit in the Matthew Harding upper, and for me, just to see the development of our ground and finally seeing it where it's going to go, it's just going to be brilliant. I think we've got some. I think our future. People go on this about Todd Boehly, what he's going to come, what his real plans are for the football club, and I've seen some people coming out and saying that since he's come in, a lot of players seem to not be coming to Chelsea. I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's because people have got to remember we're not working like we used to work under Roman Abramovich. We are now doing it on a financial basis where wherever we get in, he's not going to be a covering guy who's going to plough the money in. We go and get this player. We'll go and get that. He'll get the players that we want. But what he'll do is he'll do exactly what the model, what's his name, Liverpool's model is, and that is on the odd season here and there, you bring in an odd superstar signing, or you bring a big name in, a big name player in with big money. And so far, if you look at our deals that we've done so far, I think this Kounde deal is going to go to about 55 million should it get completed, with add-ons, which I do believe will reach up to 60 million, right? So I think that's going to be the only big deal. I do believe it. I think Koulibaly was what? Koulibaly and Sterling. I don't think they were. I think Koulibaly, how much was I've got the price tags in front of me at this moment in time, but I don't think they were that expensive either. So we haven't really spent. Yeah, so we haven't really, VJ, if you think about it, we've really not spent that big. And, I think, for getting a free transfer in like a Cristiano Ronaldo, if it can happen, that will cover maybe a big name signing for lots of money, because he could come in and cover those wages at least for a year or two. And then when we're done, the next big player that comes on, if Chelsea want to go for a big name, again down the line, it's there. And Ronaldo can happily retire whatever he wants to do. But look, I'm not going to, I mean, people say about his Manchester United connections. I, for one, look, I've even as a United player, Ronaldo's been one of my, in fact, he's probably my favourite player out there. One of my favourite players of all time. And if we can get him in at Chelsea, I'd be more than happy. Honestly, I would.
Absolutely. I mean, who can debate the quality of Cristiano Ronaldo? Maybe you can still
class, mate. Class.
Argue to an extent, maybe the tactics eventually becomes all ball leads to Ronaldo. We've seen that happening, with multiple teams where the player becomes bigger than the club in itself at times. And that's something that Manchester United has historically struggled as well. And that's probably the reason why, a manager like someone like, be it this time, I forgot his name.
Ten Hag.
No, the one before that.
The German manager
who came in for 6 months.
Yeah. I know you're talking about Ralf Ragnick. Ralf Ragnick.
Yeah. Good. Ralf Ragnick. Again, the problem that Ralf Ragnick at Manchester United has or had is not something that we can directly equate to what Thomas Tuchel might have at Chelsea Football Club. The difference being Ralf Ragnick in his manager career has not achieved enough to make sure that,
Correct.
to keep Cristiano Ronaldo in line. Yeah. If Cristiano Ronaldo was going to Pep Guardiola, that would have been one of the amazing signing where, that would have completely toppled the scales into Manchester United City's favor even in Champions League games. They still managed to win the league, but maybe the Champions League will also be something that Manchester City would have had in their kitty, given his caliber at Champions League games. And also Pep Guardiola able to control big name players like that. He's had control Neymar in the past, Messi, Suarez. He had that capability to do so. So I'm pretty sure, he would have been the right manager for Cristiano Ronaldo had it happened. And you could say the same thing for Thomas Tuchel as well, because he's had history controlling players like Thiago Silva, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe. So even Thomas Tuchel is not new to that sort of an environment where he has big names around him and he doesn't know how to manage them. I think, Thomas Tuchel getting Cristiano Ronaldo is not something that would be a risk to his career, obviously, where you could you could still say that would be a risk to Eric Ten Hag, even if he has him in the squad, right?
Yeah,
At any given point in time, Eric Ten Hag, still you could argue he was, one of the best managers in the Dutch league, but that does not equate to Premier League any at any point in time. Ajax never made into even the last 16, right? So
yeah.
you cannot talk about a Dutch league and compare Cristiano Ronaldo to be in that Eric Ten Hag scenario and operate under him. But you could still do the same with Thomas Tuchel, if you understand what I mean, right? And
Yeah.
that's the reason why I feel Thomas Tuchel is a better manager for Cristiano Ronaldo than Eric Ten Hag will ever be.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting point you make there, VJ, because I know a lot of people were saying that he was having issues at PSG with the likes of Mbappe, not so much Neymar. I think Neymar, because of Neymar's travelling and what he used to do, everyone knows the guy's a party animal. He's a top player, again a brilliant player, but we all know what Neymar used to do in terms of his behaviour at PSG, and I do believe that got up. But apparently, under Thomas Tuchel, though, he was a manager he well respected, and he said, I think he's even gone on Twitter and said he's one manager I would put my hats up to, owe him a lot because he's done a lot for my career. And look, we talk about big name players, big with big personalities, big heads. They try to come into the dressing room, try to run the show. I think Chelsea have had that over the years with some previous managers. I think the only manager that really could stop that was Jose Mourinho in his time. Even the likes of a Carlo Ancelotti, who's we all know what a godfather of management he is in the world of football, mate. The guy's just class. Conte, another one. Even as much as Conte shows up there, he's big. He still couldn't handle the likes of Diego Costa. That's why he did that stupid text to Diego Costa to say, "You're not part of my plans." In the season before the season has started. So he's another one who can't handle these personalities. And I think when you got the likes of a Thomas Tuchel, maybe a Klopp, a Guardiola, a Jose, these are the kind of managers that can handle people like a Ronaldo, like a Neymar, and so on. The people that are supposed to be the bad apples and carts. I don't believe that for a second with Ronaldo. I just think for me, it's more to the fact that he's. We all know what a player he is. We all know how ambitious he is. He's a Champions League merchant. He wants to be playing Champions League football even at the age of 42 if he still carries on playing.
Yes,
he's like Thiago Silva. Silva is the same, is in the same bread in that way. Okay, different player, different position, but he's another one who likes to be playing in the Champions League every season, and I think that's what's kept Thiago Silva at Chelsea again for another 2 years. He's enjoying his football there. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, another one. You've just said that, another one. There's several players out there, that would love to just carry on playing Champions League football for the right manager and for the right team. And I do believe we have everything at Chelsea to make that happen for Ronaldo. We've got the even though whatever his United connections are or Real Madrid connections are, I for one believe the fan base will automatically fall for this guy. They'll fall in love with this guy very quickly, and the shirt sales will go sky high. He'll be one of the crowd favourites within one season and come in there, or whatever two we'll get him for. And I can just see it happening. But look, it's just a dream. I don't think it's a dream signing. I just said on that comment, just watch this space, because I do believe Ronaldo, if he doesn't sort his situation out with Manchester United, and it seems he doesn't want to go anywhere else, because Bayern Munich don't want him. There were strong links to Atletico Madrid as well. There was also talk that Real Madrid might take him back, but that's not happening, it doesn't look like. So what's he going to do? He can't stay out of football for 1 year, not play football. He's going to have to go somewhere. I can't see him going back to Man United because he's already made that clear that he doesn't want to go there. So that's why I'm saying just watch this space with Ronaldo, because it could happen. Maybe last couple of days of the transfer window. Well, no one knows, but I think he could be the big mover in this transfer window. I personally think.
Absolutely. And this window has actually surprised a lot of us, because a lot of movements have happened in this window. We saw the last year and the year before that was kind of impacted a bit conservative approach by the teams, because they didn't know how COVID was actually trying to or going to impact them. But right now, I think the clubs are a bit aware of the situation. They know how to react in this COVID scenario, and they have come out better. And we see a lot of Premier League clubs making very good signings in this particular transfer window, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the big names as well these signings are made towards the end of the transfer window, because usually
100%.
these big name signings kind of take time and usually finish towards the end of the transfer window. So I wouldn't be really surprised if that happens as well. But Daniel Crane is also making an important point. This is from Nizar Cancela, slightly digressing from the Ronaldo topic, but let me read that out. Thomas Tuchel has told Todd Boehly he needs major reinforcement to his defense and wants to add PSG's Presnel Kimpembe next. This is via Nizar Cancela. Obviously, he got things wrong during the takeover, where he was more oriented towards the Saudi scenario. But again, he is still a top journalist. So this is something that comes from Nizar Kinsella. Your thoughts on this particular player?
Yeah, listen, I've actually, in fact, when we were looking at defenders, surprisingly, at the start of this transfer window, there was a lot of talk of what defenders could be coming in. My three choices were always as follows. I mean, people were talking about De Ligt, right? And as much as I rate De Ligt, we put an offer in for him, it never happened. But my actual three targets, surprisingly, were, and it's not no lie, because I was thinking of the list of defenders we could go and get. Kounde obviously was one of them. Obviously, Koulibaly was the other one, and Kimpembe was the other one. And I said to myself, okay, if we can get these three guys in our defence for next season, mate, we're forget the Premier. We're not gonna make it easy for the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City next season in terms of our defensive way. Because look, everyone will say you need to score your goals from attack, but you also need to stop the goals from going in from the other side first, right? And with those guys there, along with Thiago Silva, okay, in that defence, and then you obviously got the likes of Chalobah, who can come in there when needed. Reece James, if he needs to come back and play one. Obviously, you got Ben Chilwell there as well. These players, I mean, we're going to have a top-notch defence, and just add Kimpembe to that list along with the likes of Kounde and Koulibaly. I mean, that's our defence sorted at least for the next. I'd say if Thiago Silva can stay on for another season or so, I think he could probably do that. Just get less games, get played in vital games. I think our defence could go on for another 3, 4, 5 years at least. If we can keep those players fit. And they're young. It's not. Let's be honest, because Kounde's what 20, 23, 24, something like that. Kimpembe, what 25, 26 now. I mean, so you have maybe even younger than that. I'm not sure. I've got to double check that. But yeah, I mean, that defense for life, mate. We got a good defense there, and all we then need to just go and do then is just sort out attacking for attacks, our midfield and our attacking players. Because I do believe we're gonna strengthen in midfield. I'm really, really hoping that we get this deal for Nunes over the line from Sporting Lisbon after we get Kimpembe, if we can get him. Because I tell you what, if you've seen this now, I mean, I get an opportunity to watch Portuguese football on because I watch him as well, obviously following the Portuguese league. He is one top-notch midfielder. I tell you that now. We can get this guy, and there was an offer. We had an offer down for 40 million, BJ. I don't know what happened to that. A lot of journalists were saying it wasn't true. I don't know how. I know one or two journalists said it was true. So look again before Liverpool game, because Liverpool.
I think none of the British journalists confirmed the authenticity of the information. I think it was more on the Portuguese side.
Yeah, and I think the only one that did say something about it was Ben Jacobs. I do believe, but I think he did say no. He actually came out and said no. He is actually an alternative. But I think the number one priority is Declan Rice, I think. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if we tried to go for him towards the end, early days, the end of the transfer window as well. But let's see what happens, mate. But Kimpembe, yeah, 100%. I will take him tomorrow as well. Really good defender.
All right. Now, slowly moving on to another topic. This is a question that has been on the chat for some time now. I think we will get that answered and then move to the attacking side of the pitch, because we're hearing, comments around, Gnabry and other players as well on the attacking side of the pitch. Maybe Leroy Sané as well. So we'll get there. But then before that, since this is more oriented towards Thomas Tuchel, I thought of bringing this Pradeep Janathan's question as well. The question for us is, TD is an excellent manager, but is he equally a good coach? Werner, Pulisic, Mount Havertz, for their age and experience, need a coach to get them to their potential. Just quickly giving my answer to it before I, before I let it to DJ Sal, just that my thought on this is completely the opposite. I think he's a better coach than a better manager. I would put Thomas Tuchel as a better coach than how I'd call him, a better manager. To elaborate on that more, maybe I'll do that after DJ Sal, answers this question. But my answer to it in a simple sentence is that he's a better coach than manager from what I have looked at him.
Yeah. Now, listen, that's a very good question by Pradeep. And the simple answer is, look, for me, I think he is a good coach, as you said. I'll go along with what you're saying. I know I was saying, I have to say, I was one of those people that said when this takeover was to happen, what I would love to see happen is I would love to see Thomas Tuchel move from head coach to manager, because he's obviously gets in charge, has a bit more of a saying in the transfers than he does as a coach. Now I can probably say back on that now, and people will probably say, "Well, DJ, you've completely would you call it yourself on that one?" Because everyone thinks he's a better coach. I, for one, think he's a better coach because, he can coach. He you know how he improves players. I mean, he's improved a lot of players. I think if you look at the situation with Kimpembe's situation at PSG, how he improved him as a defender. He also did a bit of improvement on Neymar's game as well, Mbappe's game. He improved a lot of these players, and these are not just any old players. These are top-notch players. Thiago Silva is another one. That's why Thiago Silva's coming and playing under him again, because he knows what kind of a coach this guy is. Okay. With the situation with Werner, Mount, and Havertz, look, I don't think there's anything wrong with either player. I think Mount, for me, I've always rated Mason Mount. I think he's a top-notch player. I think he gets a lot of unnecessary critics from people out there for some reason, and that's only because he's come from our academy. There are some people out there that don't want to see academy players do well or even thrive in the Chelsea first team, and he's proved that to people, that he's come in there and he's shown what a top-notch player he is. Reece James the same. I remember Callum Hudson-Odoi was the same before he got that bad injury. But the likes of Timo Werner and Mount, Timo Werner and Pulisic, that's an interesting one. I think with Timo Werner, we all saw Timo Werner 3 seasons ago before he joined Chelsea. Okay, he was smashing it in for the Bundesliga, obviously for Leipzig, but he comes over to the UK, okay, and we give him that first season to obviously to settle in. I was a massive Timo Werner advocate, and I still want him to do well. But when I'm hearing actually him coming out and saying that he goes in Germany and he plays well under Flick in the German national team, but here at Chelsea he's not getting. I don't think so, man. You've got to actually look at your own game and see what you're actually doing, because I, for one, don't believe Thomas Tuchel is a bad coach. The man's gone and won as a Champions League, a World Club or the Super Cup, and a World Club the World Club tournament. That one trophy that was missing from our cupboard, he's gone and won that. So when he comes out and says, coaching-wise, I don't know what I'm doing, mate, maybe he needs to change his game a little bit. Pulisic, you all know with Pulisic. Pulisic is a very injury-prone player. Every time he seems to get to his levels of high, he goes back down. One bad injury comes, he's out for another 6 or 5 or 7 weeks or months, or it might be, until he comes back. And when he comes back, he's not always the same player. It has to take him time to get to those levels of where he was before he got that injury. Okay, so that's the only reason why I won't blame that on Thomas Tuchel. Again, that's just bad luck when you're on the field of play and someone badly injures you and you're out for how many weeks, you can't come back and be the same player. But Timo Werner, look, I don't know what more I can say about that guy. I'm not trying to not would you. I'm not running out of excuse. People saying you take up this guy too much. It's getting to the stage. Am I running out of patience with him? No, because I still think there's a player in there. But he needs to show on the pitch every day what he wants to, show Thomas Tuchel why he should be in this Chelsea setup. Because now Raheem Sterling is coming there, he is going to give every single one of them forward players competition, right? And I know there are some Chelsea fans out there that didn't rate the Sterling signing. I think he's an excellent signing, and what he brings to Chelsea is experience. And even at the age of 27 years old, this guy will score you goals. You get given the opportunity, right? And I think he'll do better than Timo Werner will. So Timo Werner's got another one to learn from. If he carries on complaining about the coach next season and Raheem Sterling comes in and starts banging in the goals, then you've got to start looking at the player and thinking, well, no, it's not actually any of the players, mate. It's actually yourself. Why is everyone else is thriving under Thomas Tuchel, but not you? Same, we saw that with Lukaku before he left. He came out and made that complaint, right? Yeah, but he unfortunately was a player that didn't play under Thomas Tuchel's way of playing. We all know that he was a striker that Thomas Tuchel did not want, but had to go with him because he was told at
Didn't
the
have
time
an
by the
alternative
owner,
at that.
no choice. He's your player. Coach him to do well. He tried to do whatever he could with him. He didn't want to learn. He didn't want to, grasp the opportunities at Chelsea. And I'll say the same thing with Timo Werner. He's got to start keeping his mouth shut a little bit more in the public eye. Come here every day on the pitch and show the manager why you should be in his team. Show him what you can do. Don't go around complaining and moaning that, I can do better elsewhere. If I play anywhere else, I can be better anywhere. No, you're playing at Chelsea. Chelsea is your club. That's who's paying your wages every week. So show what you can do and make the coach happy, because the coach does believe in him. In fact, he actually said, you should be happy to have a Chelsea contract. And he's so true, Thomas Tuchel, what he's saying. I don't know if you saw that yesterday in his comments. He came out like that.
And on the Romelu Lukaku situation as well, I just wanted to let people know one more thing on the financial side of things as well. People think he's gone on a 7 year or a 7 million or an 8 million loan. He's basically gone on a free, right?
Yeah.
We still owe 12 million to Inter Milan. Through our amortized value. So 5 years of amortized payment is what is due for Inter Milan. We've paid the first year of 20 million. We're supposed to pay the 20 million fee this year as well. But then we've skipped that 20 million and we've made sure that we only paid 12 million. The rest of the 8 million will be still encashed as the loan for Inter Milan. So in essence, we're still paying for him, and we will continue to still pay for him for the next 3 years for the mistake that we've done. And if you cannot reciprocate the kind of respect that Chelsea is showing to you right now, and paying your bills still to Inter Milan, please keep your mouth shut at least, because you're coming to the media and you're slandering Chelsea even in the Italian press, which you don't have to do it, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you were here, you wanted an Inter Milan move, that was fine. Yeah, you got your Inter Milan move. You went there, and I see a couple of pictures that was posted by him again on the training shirtless, training videos. And then he was still slandering Chelsea at that point in time as well, which I completely think is unnecessary for him to get the support of Inter fans. If you want to get the support of Inter fans, play there, show your talent, and get the support of Inter fans,
100%.
not by slandering Chelsea and trying to get fans through that.
100%, mate. And you know what? The funny, interesting thing you say about Lukaku, VJ. Sorry, we've come away from the question that was asked earlier on.
Thomas Tuchel question,
but I'll come back to that one. But listen, going back to Thomas Tuchel, look, I'm not saying, listen, he has to play a part in it as well. As much as he's a good coach, he has got to coach these players as well. It's a two-way thing. It can't just be about the players complaining.
We cannot completely take that out of the equation.
Exactly.
Like how I think it was Jonathan, right? Pradeep mentioned, this is a young team, though we like it or not. We've inherited a lot of academy players, and we've gotten players from the other leagues who are still young as well. Like Timo Werner is 26 when we got him. Now he's probably 28, but when he was 26, we got him. Kai Havertz was 22 when we got him, or 21 maybe, right? So we inherited younger players across the leagues as well when we decided to get him. Hakim Ziyech in itself, though you can still call him 28 years old and still you should be experienced, in the broader context of things, 28-year midfielder or a winger is still a young midfielder. It's not that old of a midfielder. So I think there needs to be a lot of coaching as well involved. How you mentioned, it's more of a two-way street. There needs to be these things that are happening. But I believe this is something that Thomas Tuchel is still working out and planning through, because all that I can see, and a lot of fans at Chelsea right now, including you, might agree to this point. We have not seen any difference in the first two preseason games from the previous season, in terms of the patterns of play, in terms of how we are being direct, in terms of our formation and the way that we collectively attack as a unit and fall back. And in terms of recycling the balls, we expected this recycling to be reduced in this particular season at least. And I still expect us to do that a lot more, reduce the number of recycling that you want to do and start attacking a lot more and be more
100%,
direct,
mate.
right? And I'm not seeing that in the first two games. Maybe, just maybe, it's because they're playing against an unknown opponent, which they cannot risk it. Like the US opponents are obviously something that they're not comfortable with, or they've never played with. And I believe the
Yeah.
first two games were a bit physical as well in nature.
Yeah.
Usually, teams from the US are not that physical, but then these two teams, I believe, was a bit physical in nature.
Yeah.
Not saying that the Prem teams will not be the same, but Prem team dynamics is something that I think this Chelsea team is used to by now. But the
Yeah.
US, playmaking and the capability of those players is not something that these guys are aware of. So maybe,
Mm.
just maybe, that is why we did not see a lot of risk takings from our team. But I
Yeah.
really want to see that in this Arsenal game. That will give us a lot more,
Oh yeah.
picture.
Definitely. And I think we also need to take into consideration, VJ, is that, these American teams that we played on, just in general, look, we've got to remember they're actually quite ahead of their pre-season. I do believe they're playing matches already. Their league's already started, from what I understand. So they've got way more ahead of us in
Flash
terms of,
practice.
we're just starting our pre-season. Let's be honest. It wasn't so long ago that an American team, I can't remember who it was, I think it might have been Charlotte, Carolina, they thrashed Everton 3-0. So they're not a joke. These teams are not jokes, mate. They're ahead of their game in terms of where they are. Okay, they beat us on penalties in the end. Okay, they beat us on penalties in the end. But but let's be honest, they hit the bar. They played. They at some point in that game, if you watched it, they were at one point almost playing us off the field because they were so far ahead. And we were just making mistakes in that game that you will never see Chelsea generally do. And that bizarre for the first game, that bizarre own goal by poor Reece James scored. You never see that ever happening ever. Generally, if they were not in the middle of their season, it's because, as I keep saying, we've just only begun our pre-season, and people have got to take that into consideration. Had Chelsea met them halfway and we started our season 3 or 4 games into our season, I reckon we'd have won that game no problem. And I also think, going back to the whole thing that you talked about, the team-wise, I can see Thomas Tuchel changing his style of play this season. He's not going to just be a 3 at the back. I can actually see him going to 4-3-3 this season. That's why he's bringing all these players in, okay, and trying to sort out the defence and all that, because he wants to change his formation in some games. And let's be honest, anyone that's actually watched Thomas Tuchel as a manager, I do believe at Mainz, I do believe at Dortmund, and I do believe at Paris Saint-Germain, he was playing 4-3-3. I think the odd time he played the 3 at the back. I think only at Chelsea he started doing the 3 at the back. Correct me if I'm wrong in there. Maybe in the comments might need to correct me on it. But I do believe he's a 4-3-3 manager, so he is an attacking manager. So let's not say he's not attacking, because he is. You just got to have the right plays. I guess he's got to be happy with the right plays in the right positions to play that system. And obviously with the signings of Kounde, Kimpembe, hopefully Koulibaly, he might be able to play this back 4 now. Whereas
I think,
as much as go on. Sorry, Vijay, go on.
Sorry to cut you off there, but I think it has a lot more to do with the kind of inexperience that he kind of inherited when he became the manager in terms of the defensive front as well, right?
Yes.
We had Reece James, Trevor Chalobah. You could still argue that Reece James was one of the best, wing backs at that point in time, but still he was inexperienced. Trevor Chalobah, another one. Christensen, again inexperienced. Antonio Rudiger was not probably a favorable player when Thomas Tuchel came in as well by Lampard. So you had a bit of a clumsy defensive unit that you kind of inherited. So all that you could do was stack them more so that you don't leak goals. And that is exactly why he kind of went for a 3-4-3 is what I believe. But for him to right now adapt to a 4-3-3, like you mentioned, maybe he needs more stable products, and that's why he's going for the likes of Kimpembe, Koulibaly, who he knows has been playing in this system for a while now, and Thiago Silva leading that attack. And I think that's the reason why he's probably doing that. Maybe we can see a shift once we have the whole squad in. And like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if we go for a 4-3-3 from the start of the season as well.
Yeah, no, and look, it's one of the, and people will say he shouldn't really be. I was going to know Pradeep came out with that comment. Big up to Pradeep again. He's given some interesting news there. I read that. I saw that as well. How much of that is true, I don't know. But anyway, we'll come back. I'm sure you're going to come back to that one. But going back to what I was just finishing off, I for one think, look, we're going to see this season what Thomas Tuchel. He's getting his own players. Let's first of all get one thing stated here. He's getting his own play. So Kounde, Koulibaly, obviously Sterling, all players that he wants. We've also signed this American goalkeeper, I do believe, and we've loaned him back to Chicago Fire. He looks a good one. He looks a very good prospect for the future. In fact, he reminds me a little bit of Thibaut Courtois. Quite tall at the age of 19. I think that's how old he is. He's going back on loan now, back to his club that we got him from. I can see him being our number one. Well, not saying probably about 3 or 4 or 5 years down the line. I can see him being our number one goalkeeper. Because I think he's that good. But going back to what we were saying about the formation, yeah, I can see him changing that formation. He gets the players in that he wants. Do not be surprised if you see him starting the season with a 4-3-3. To see how we go with that, because I reckon we could thrive in that 4-3-3 formation because he's got the right players that he wants in the right positions as well. So let's see what happens in that one, mate.
Absolutely, it would be really interesting if he's switching that formation and how successful that formation is going to be. But before getting into the Pradeep's comment on the attacking option, who right now I have on the list is Gnabry, Sane, and Saint Maximin, that we will be taking a closer look or who could be the potential, attacking replacement, and who are they probably going to replace again. We'll take a quick look at Fabrizio Romano, who's just tweeted out 2 minutes back. If you guys cannot read it on my screen, I'm trying to zoom in a lot more so that you guys can also take a look at it. Barcelona feel Chelsea's proposal for Jules Koundé is too important to be matched. 55 million to Sevilla with very good payment terms, almost 9 to 10 million salary on a 5-year contract. Chelsea contracts ready in Sevilla's hands since yesterday. Deal at final stages.
Big up to that comment. Big up to Fabrizio. I know he gets things wrong, but 9 out of 10 times he's always right, Fabrizio Romano. If that's what he's saying is the case, then that is excellent news. I think a lot of us Chelsea fans, and I know there was a lot of Chelsea fans on another stream I was watching earlier on, I do believe on Chelsea Perspective stream, big up to him, by the way. A lot of Chelsea fans were stressing. They were stressing about this whole Koundé situation, and hopefully now the Romano's Fabrizio's tweet has added some light to it all now, and he'll become a Chelsea player in the coming days. He might be in London. He might be flying over to London at this moment, at this very time now. We don't know. So
exactly.
Plane watch, bro. Plane watch. Everyone's giving the plane watch.
Daniel, big up to you for letting us know that there was a fab tweet, obviously. And guys, you heard it here first. I think it kind of takes a bit of a privilege for me as well in saying this first on the stream. 2 minutes once Fabrizio actually commented on that. Jules Koundé to Sevilla. From Sevilla to Chelsea is imminent. 55 million. Fabrizio has tweeted 9 to 10 million salary on a 5-year contract. I mean, 9 to 10 million is not so bad, is it? It comes to roughly around 275, 300.
Yeah, about that. I do believe. I'm just checking. Yeah, about that. Let me have a look. No, I think you might be right, BJ. I'm just 52.
I did not calculate it. I was just,
I do believe it's about 9 to 10 million. Yeah, it's around about 2. Hold on. Just trying to get it on my calculator. It's just on the. I'm just actually on my computer. Hold on. 275. Yeah, it's about. You're gone. Sorry, mate.
No, I said take your time. No worries.
No, that's cool. Don't wait on that one. Carry on what you were saying. Sorry, bro.
All right, yeah. So for people who are asking on the comment section, the Koundé deal, is it done or not? According to Fabrizio, the deal is imminent. What we knew before this was that Koundé actually wanted to travel with the Sevilla squad for the pre-match, due to which he was not able to attend the medicals by Chelsea. So he might be flying back to to London to attend the medicals, of course, and maybe he's probably going to be joining the Chelsea squad after the Chelsea squad return from the US after their Arsenal game, is what I'm thinking, because it wouldn't make any sense for him to just travel there to the US to join with the squad to play the Arsenal game, which he might anyways not play, because Thomas Tuchel wouldn't want to integrate the player so quickly into the squad, that too for a big game like Arsenal. So I believe he will be joining the squad once the squad returns back to London. If things are what they seem to be at this point in time, we can see Jules Koundé in Chelsea's blue in the next few hours, being announced by Chelsea as well. Guys, we are 50 people live right now, like 50 people are watching the stream right now. Please press that like button as well. We are on 50 likes as well. We can actually get it going a lot more than this as well, because right now people are going to be coming in and joining the stream
Come on,
to
people,
see
smash the like
what
button.
has happened
Smash
with
it.
that. Yeah, Jules Koundé situation. And we are live across 3 networks: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can catch us live on any of those social media platforms. All right. Now, since we've discussed about the Koundé topic in detail, that we had to, let's slowly digress back to that, the attacking options, of course.
Yes.
It's going to be a bit of a challenge in terms of the monetary situation in getting the attacking options done, like I told earlier as well. Since this is not the Roman era anymore, we're not going to be splashing cash around. And we already have a lot of amortized payment, which we are still doing. If I remember things correctly, we're still paying those amortized value for Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Romelu Lukaku, and Hakim Ziyech. So we are paying right now 4 amortized payments to multiple clubs, which makes it a bit more difficult for us to offload them at the same time, get another player in. It's not something impossible, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be not a straightforward deal is what I'm trying to say. But looking at the attacking options, ignoring the financial side of things for the moment. We've got Nabri, which was a good call from I think it was from Baba Tunde Daniel. Saint Maximin, that's a good call from Pradeep. And we had Leroy Sane. This is from Twitter. These are the options that we have. Otherwise, we probably have to go for Broja. We have to stick with Broja. And I cannot believe I'm going to be actually saying this, Michi Bachuai. But yeah, this is the options we have.
Oh, Michi. Oh my God. Listen, on what you just said there, look, in fact, we haven't. That's not the only option, BJ. We have got Rafaelo Leao as well. He's a very good player. I have to tell you that now. But listen, on one of them, I can tell you already, 2 of them will not come. The 2 that are not going to come will be Gnabry, because Gnabry's already signed a new extension on his deal with Bayern Munich. So I don't think that deal is going to happen anytime. All they were basically trying to do was try to get other clubs interested in him. And then he played that game, as they always do, these players do, to get his extension of Bayern Munich and to get the money that he wants. So he's managed to get, I do believe he's managed to get an extension done on his contract. I do believe he's signed a 1 or a 2-year extension on his contract. I think he was coming out of contract. So that deal, so he will not be happening. Leroy Sane, look, you're gone.
Just a second. Before you move on to the next player, my question here on this contract extension is that, what if this is a scenario, like I'm just speculating here, right?
Yeah, sure.
What if this is a deal like Oliver Giroud, where like there is a 1-year contract just signed so that they can get some value out of Gnabry by selling him to another club? Could that be one such scenario? Like, do you think Bayern would be doing that? Or it's just a marina tax that you usually gets that done?
It's a marina. No, I think what it is, Vijay, I think what people got to remember is Gnabry didn't want to leave Bayern Munich. All he was trying to do was fight for another contract extension. His plans was never to leave Bayern Munich. He goes, why should he leave? Look at them there. Look how they're probably after Barcelona and Real Madrid in terms of Champions Leagues, in terms of status-wise. Why would you want to leave Bayern Munich, and go somewhere else? I mean, the guy's happy there. He's loving life in Five Eyes. I know from speaking to a lot of my Bayern friend mates out there. He does love life in Bayern Munich. He didn't really want to go. There was also that talk that if he was to leave Bayern Munich, he would not come to Chelsea because he didn't want to be. He didn't want to be. What do you call it, for Arsenal fans? Because he knows, Arsenal have been the only club for him. But then I look at that and I think to myself, mate, when you were actually at Arsenal, how many games did you actually start at Arsenal? Because if anybody knows Gnabry's time at Arsenal, he hardly kicked a game. I do believe he was put out on loan once or twice. Never really got into the plans or under the wings of Arsene Wenger, whoever else was the manager back then. So for him to turn around and say, I've got my loyalties to Arsenal, when a club like Chelsea are coming in for you, Champions League winners twice, more Premiership titles than Arsenal, Currently we've won literally everything in sight. Why would you just turn around and say, oh, I'd rather go to Arsenal when if I was to leave? I mean, that could just have been him being loyal to the Arsenal fans, saying, I'm not going to go anywhere. But I think if push came to shove, and really Chelsea really wanted him, we would have gone all out and got him. That's my honest opinion on that. But I don't think. But I always thought I understand from speaking to people that I know from Bayern mates and around Germany was the fact that he was very happy in Bayern Munich and that he didn't really want to leave. He was just putting it out there that I wanted a new contract. That's all it was. So if it can happen, brilliant. But I don't think it will. So let's see what happens on that one. Now I could still be wrong. It could still happen.
And it's not even a 1 or 2 year contract. I was just going through the specifics of the contract. It's a 2026 contract. So
2 years.
It's a long-term contract anyways.
It's still 2026, you say. So it's 2022. So he's extended it to so he's extended for another three years, isn't he?
It's almost like a new contract anyways on 200k a week.
Wow, well there you go. So I cannot see for the life of me buying selling him. Sane, a very good, interesting one. Again, what a player. I'm surprised Manchester City actually let the guy go, to be honest with you, when they did. Again, I cannot see him see him leaving Bayern Munich in a hurry. I do believe Leroy Sané's just come there, isn't he? So he's competition for him. Is that who we're talking about? Leroy Sané? We talking about the other guy?
Leroy Sané from Bayern. Leroy
Sané. He's just I mean, they've also got Mane in there now, so it's competition there for them. But look, he's again, I cannot see Bayern Munich selling Sané at all. I mean,
actually, that's the reason why I brought this Sané topic, because I mean, if Mane is going there, obviously his position is a bit threatened.
It is, but I also believe I do believe also that they're looking, like mostly they probably want 2 players for each position, and I do believe, and the thing of all is, let's be honest, Mane gives him options. It's not just playing. He doesn't just play in one position. If they want to play Mane as a striker, they can do Mane as a striker. He's done that with Liverpool a few times. So they can use that option if they need to. So I do believe the front 3 can also interject anyway. Any of them 3 can play in the front. So whether it's Gnabry in the front, whether it's Sané in the front, or Sané or Mane in the front, they can always swap if need be. So in that kind of way, I can't see him leaving Bayern Munich in a hurry. Another one I can possibly say I'm probably going to be ruling out. But again, it could all happen and change, and one of them could come. The other one, Maxima. That was only happened. That's been a few stories have gone out about Maxima. I do believe another one went out today about him. Again,
just a second before we just a second.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry to cut you off there. But before moving to Maximin, I thought we should be also looking at the contract situation for Leroy Sané.
Yeah, go. Sorry, go on. My bad. Sorry.
No worries. So he is on a contract for 2026 until 2026, 2025, I believe.
2025.
But then his wages, he's on 325k a week. That's huge money.
Yeah,
325k is like what we pay for Sterling now. I don't think so. We will be able to afford another player on the same wage bracket at this point in time, at least. So that is a bit. I mean, again, Leroy Sané doesn't have to actually take a wage cut like that of a Ronaldo. He's still young. He's 25 years old, so he still has good amount of years left in him, and his position though might be speculatively be under threat. He still can compete with that. He's still competing with the African player of the year. So nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, listen, I've always rated Sané, to be honest with you. I remember when there was talks of Manchester City selling him. I do believe we were looking at him, but Manchester City were never going to sell him to Chelsea because they know what player he is. And he ended up going. I think he always wanted to go back to Germany. I do believe as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one as well.
Yeah. He wanted to go for Germany, and you know what? The pay, the fee was also not that high. If I remember it correctly, it was around 40.5 million or something.
Yes.
41 million, I believe. So that wasn't a hefty fee actually that Bayern paid for to Manchester City as well. But I think they're reaping that rewards. That's why he's on 325 k a year.
Oh no,
sorry, a week.
And I think he's 320. And the thing of all is with Sané, again, another one. Would he, again, on that contract that he's on, would he want to leave Bayern Munich in a rush in any time soon? He looks very settled to me there. I think that was his first priority anyway. When he knew Manchester City was selling him, I think he told Man City,
Absolutely.
if I want to go back to Germany, and Bayern Munich came in for him. That was it. Done deal, was finished. So I can't see him anytime sooner. And to be honest with you, apart from I'll probably say Michael Ballack, you don't see very many players leaving Bayern Munich and coming over to another. I don't know any other one. Maybe someone can remind me if someone has. I can't think of many that have come over from Bayern Munich over to the Premiership after leaving them. They either go to
Bastian
was
finished
it
it at United, is it?
Schweinsteiger? Was it Bastian Schweinsteiger? Yeah, I think that's right. He came. Wasn't his last of his? Was it the twilight of his career that was left?
2 years.
Yes, of his career. It's okay. He was the other one that came. But as I
Now
said,
Lewandowski, of course.
Lewandowski. Yeah, he would have been an ideal signing. But Lewandowski again, he reminds me very much of Lionel Messi in the coat. He doesn't want to come and test himself in the Premiership. But again, if Barcelona was his dream, Barcelona was his dream. So he keeps on saying so. He got his dream move. Who are we to complain about that? So yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, but the Sane one, okay, I don't think he would have come to us anyway.
Right. Looking at the contract, this is probably going to be
that as well. Money wise,
this is not heading anyways. But also one more thing that I wanted to actually talk about when it comes to like you brought this point as well, right? About he not wanting to come out of Germany. I think this is something that the fans kind of undermine at times, right? Including us. We tend to undermine the need of that player to stay in their home country. Right? If I want to move out of my country, even if I get twice paid as much as what I would be getting paid back in my home country, I would probably stay here unless it is obviously very hefty, that I would probably leave my family back home and then move there. Or if I want to take my family as well there, obviously I have to look at multiple aspects and angles. It's not just always about the player himself, it's about the family, how the ability of them to settle down in a new location. We all saw this kind of a confusion when Hakimi deal fell through. The deal was more focused on his wife than Hakimi himself, right? Because I still remember that because Hakimi,
remember that.
It does play a huge part in correct. It does play a huge part in the way that the players move through these clubs. And I think them moving from league to league is not as easy as what we are looking at from the outside. Obviously we don't know the inner workings, obviously in their family and the dimensions of the family as well. So that might play a huge role in how they make their decision towards going to a particular club or not. I think if Sane had made his mind already up that he's not going to anyways play in the Premier League and want to move to Germany and wants to play for Bayern Munich, which is his home country, in his home country, I probably respect him for doing that, and he probably, like how you mentioned, would want to keep doing that until the end of his career.
VJ, can you just hold for me 1 second, bro? I've got my dad is just leaving now. Can you bear me 1 minute? I'll be back. I'll be back on in a second. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
No worries. While we are waiting for DJ to join back as well, quickly on the questions that we have here that are yet to be addressed. Is the deal for Kounde done? Theoretically, it is done, but there are some, we're still waiting for the confirmation from the clubs, of course. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted out saying that Chelsea contracts are ready and in Sevilla's hands. Since yesterday, deal is at the final stages, so the signing of Sevilla is not yet done, and we probably can expect that to happen in the next coming hours. But this is coming straight from Fabrizio Romano this time, and he says that one important point that he also mentions, if you look at the tweet here as well, is that he almost mentions that Barcelona are out of the race. He basically mentions Barcelona feel Chelsea's proposal for Jules Koundé is too important to be matched. So he says that they're going to be anyways not matching. And another interesting thing that I also saw today in Twitter from Managing Barca, that's another Twitter account that are usually focused more on the Barcelona transfers, is that basically there is an agreement between FC Barcelona and Inigo Martinez for a 4-year contract. If that is falling through and Inigo Martinez is who they're focused on, then I don't feel the necessity for Jules Koundé to be going to Barcelona. So if Inigo Martinez is moving on to Barcelona, I think Koundé to Chelsea is a no-brainer. Is also, please press that like button in YouTube. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. We are 2 hours in live right now. We've already crossed the 50 like mark. We will be doing a live stream daily at this point in time, this timing only. So if you guys want to continuously be part of this football community, please make sure to like and stay tuned with that channel. We'll bring all live updates from Chelsea and Chelsea relevant stories. Like we have multiple perspectives in this channel, of course, from DJ Savage, ranging from Lawrence and other Chelsea fans who bring in different dimensions, or who are interested in different dimensions of the game. So I think that obviously makes the channel a lot better and interactive as well. This is the tweet that I wanted to show you guys as well. I believe DJ Savage as well is back right now.
Yeah, big up, sorry, Vijay. Yeah.
All right, just a second. I think I saw this particular tweet from Managing Barca. It's one of the Barca focused account, where they say just a second.
Yeah, sure.
They're basically saying that Inigo Martinez and FC Barcelona have come to an agreement on a 4-year contract, which practically, also means that Jules Koundé is not someone who's of the interest anymore for them. So I would be surprised if they go for both Inigo Martinez and Jules Koundé. That's exactly what I wanted to actually say. Yeah, this is the one. This is the tweet. Right. Yeah, this is the comment. FC Barcelona and Inigo Martinez have reached full agreement for a 4-year contract. I'm not sure how much of talks have happened between the clubs, but maybe with the player, the 4-year contract, the player agreement is done, is what they're actually reporting. If this is also done, and if they're also in the race to get Azpilicueta, and they already have Christensen, I don't see the reason why they have to go for Kounde.
The thing of all is, can you just see the person that's tweeted that? Yeah, how is he? Is he quite high up? It's 2,837 followers. Okay,
not that great. But I think he's more of a journalist.
He's one of the journalists, is he? Yeah, maybe it could be true. If he knows probably more on the team, or you could, you get some of those that just put that out there just to make them sounds out there. But it could be true. But yeah, listen, on the actually thing, it's interesting because they actually do. The thing of all is, it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen to the young prospect player they've got there in Serginho Dest. I think we forget about him there. He's still there. So for them to be going after this Martinez, plus they want to bring Aspi in there, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him, because I do believe he was linked heavily with Chelsea a couple of seasons ago. I do believe in January he was supposed to come to us last year. I don't know if you can remember that. There was a strong links to him coming to us. We were going through the...
we're looking for options for Koundé, backup and all that. And
no, it was not for the backup for Koundé. It was more the fact of, in case, obviously, because Reece James picked up that injury, didn't he? And we're looking to bring somebody in to come in there. So, it'd be interesting to see what happens to him, because, from what I've seen of him, he actually doesn't look like a bad player. I'm surprised that Barcelona haven't got more confidence in the guy. Obviously, they see him on a regular basis. Obviously, the fans will know more about him than I do. But from what I've seen of him, when I've watched him play when I've watched Barca play on here and there, I saw some games play on there. He's not looked bad when he's played in the team. It doesn't look like he's out of position either. So it's an interesting what's going to happen to him. But yeah, I mean, Azpilicueta, there's always been talk with Aspi in Barcelona, isn't it? I think Chelsea are trying to get this deal for Koundé done, so they can possibly go in for Azpilicueta as experience, because I do believe, Xavi was, I think he said that one of his first thing what he wanted to do was bring experience to his team, and then obviously bring in the other players that he wants alongside it all. And obviously, if you think about the players he's gone and got, you got Lewandowski, who's 33. You've got then obviously you've got Rafinha, who's gone there. I don't know, he's 24, 26 or 24, 25 years old. You've obviously got Dembele there now, who signed a new contract. I won't even call him. He's 25. So they are looking for experienced players. So it would not surprise me if this Martinez guy goes in there, and then you've got Aspi following on. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised either if you see Alonso following suit as well at some point.
Absolutely. And not to digress from the attacking topic, of course, but then answering Francis's question here. This is the tweet that was tweeted by Nizar Kinsella a few hours back. Thomas Tuchel has told sporting director Todd Boehly, who apparently seems also the owner for the club, that he needs major reinforcements to his defense and wants to add Paris Saint-Germain's defender Presnel Kimpembe next. When he mentions next year, he's actually referring to next after that of Jules Koundé. So we're also probably going to go for Presnel Kimpembe. So this deal is no means off, Francis, is what I'm trying to say. With that, we'll again move on to the attacking option. And now we've come to the Premier League. Of course, this option is Saint-Maximin. Your thoughts on Saint-Maximin? For me personally, right?
Go for it.
Quickly, I'm not going to talk about the financials. That comes later, maybe after hearing your thoughts. But for me, Alan Saint-Maximin is someone who can just run through defense, just run a single player into the post. But then he's again a Timo Werner in the final third. That's been a bit of an issue for me. But still, he is he's a very capable player. And not to slander him off, obviously he needs to be playing in one of the big six team.
100%.
Right now, you could still argue Newcastle are right there. The next 2-3 years, they're probably going to be on that big six, category. But right now, Saint-Maximin, they consider him to be the most integral player of that team. Both, Eddie Howe and the coaching staff, they consider, the ownership as well, consider him to be the star player for Newcastle United, and they're building the team around him. So would he be someone that Newcastle would easily give out, given the new ownership and the financial backing that they have? It's not the club that you can just go and fetch in players like how you used to do with Huddersfield or, maybe an Everton at this point in time. They have new owners and a good financial backing.
Mate.
They're not going to be easy to deal with. But that's my thoughts on it. DJ Sal.
No, but listen, bro, listen, VJ, you've just answered the question and hit the nail right on the head, mate. Yeah, look, let's be honest. As much as we have this billionaire owner, well, I won't call him billionaire, it's come to our football club, and I do believe the people that are the people from Lake Capital are worth over 50 billion worth of asset. They're worth about that. They're still no more than the Newcastle owners are, mate. And if Chelsea do come in and say, okay, look, we'll give you this, they'll say, okay, Maximin, if they really wanted to, how about we give you a higher contract on this amount a week? Okay, and then they put a £250 million price tag on his head. That's how it will work with these Newcastle owners. Now, listen, I think we can forget about that deal altogether, mate. As much as I rate him, because I really think he's a top-notch player. I think the only thing I will say on that one is I do believe if any deal was to happen on that, it would probably involve play around the money. And I do believe Timo Werner's had strong links to Newcastle in the last last season or two, ever since these owners have come in. But I, for one, cannot see Timo Werner going to Newcastle, to be honest with you. I mean, the guy talks about saying he wants to go and play and show what he can do. I can play this and that, but you got a chance to go and show at Newcastle what you can't do at Chelsea. Maybe you can do it at Newcastle. But look, I can't see it happening. I think we can forget about that deal. I do rate Maximin very highly. I think he's a top-notch player.
It's going to be a hard deal.
It'll be a hard deal to pull away from Newcastle, mate. With the money in the back, the money they've got, unlikely. And the wages on as well.
One thing that could possibly, if at all this deal needs to go through, one thing that could possibly, fall in our favor is that despite them being the richest club in the world right now, they still have to go through the UEFA financial regulations and financial fair play, right? So under that context, maybe, just maybe, they will not be in a position strong enough that we kind of anticipate them to.
Yes.
But still getting players from them, I don't think so. Financial fair play comes into that equation. Buying players from another club, that is where financial fair play is more focused on, not in letting your players go. right? And that's the reason why I'm not sure if that will be more helpful. But financial fair play is what is preventing right now them to actually go for like someone like an Eden Hazard or Neymar, because they cannot balance their book
No.
at given a point in time, right? Because I've been watching or I've been following Newcastle after their takeover very closely. Of course, Amanda Staveley, the co-owner, along with Eddie Howe, has been operating very well. Of course, the head of the recruitment for them is Steve Nixon. He's someone who's very focused on not getting specialist players like Neymar, Eden Hazard, big names, and he's more focused on getting quality additions for them. Like, let me put it this way, right?
Young kids.
Yeah, exactly. When in one of the interviews, I believe Steve Nixon was actually mentioning about his potential targets. Actually, he actually told about the potential targets to the world, right? He was talking about Darwin Núñez, Arnaud Danjuma. I think S.A. Lingard was one of them, and Ismail Assar, Hugo
Lamptey.
These guys, Eric Lamptey. These
Lamptey,
people, sorry, Tariq Lamptey. Why did I say
sorry?
Eric Lamptey? I'm sorry.
Sorry?
I actually said Eric Lamptey, which is supposed to be Tariq Lamptey. I combined
Tariq
Eric
Lamptey.
Bailey and the other name.
I know you meant.
So yeah, this is the kind of names that he's looking at. So I think they're more focused on like the Man City kind of business, or you would right now could say not even Man City, Liverpool's style of business, where they don't go essentially for big names just to attract interest and revenue to the club. Rather, they're more focused on tactical players. They don't want to just jump ship from 12th place to all the way to the first or second spot. They want to take it gradually in a process where this year they probably will be looking at finishing in the top 8, and then from there they look at finishing in the top 6. And I think that's the way that they will be progressing. And don't mistake that Newcastle has not made any summer moves, guys. I believe there is this way that they're going to try and do business, right? They're going to be more focused on the window, where there's not going to be a lot of clubs in contention for players, and they'll just go right in and swoop in the players that they kind of want. I think Chelsea as well, initially 2023-4, we also went for a lot of signings during the winter transfer window rather than the summer transfer window. If you remember, DJ.
Yes, I do remember. But just going back, going back to what you were just saying about Newcastle and the players they're looking to recruit. I think you've got to also look into the play. Talking about generation players they're looking at. I do believe Armando Broja and Callum Hudson-Odoi is on that list as well. I've seen links to them two players by Newcastle. Again, they're the kind of teams. This is what I'm trying to say. When I talk about saying Chelsea will not sell Broja, but I tell you what. If Newcastle were to come in with a mad bid of say 50 million plus for him, I would not. It would not surprise me if we were to if we were to sell him to them for that amount of money. Yes, he signed a new 5-year contract, but the money for him, I'll be gutted because I personally don't want to see Broja or Callum go. To be honest with you, because I do believe that they're both talented. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi has been one of my favourite youth academy players to come through the Chelsea ranks in years. He's been one of my favourites, and I've always had this always had like a thing for this kid, because I do believe this kid can come really good if he's not injured. If he gets over his injury, I still think there's a talent in there. He's 21 years old only. You're forgetting that also, so he has still got a long way to go. But in terms of Newcastle and letting, because I know you were talking about their player, obviously Maximum, before that, and before we moved on to the young kids that they can bring in, and I for one, as I said, I for one don't think they will let him go. And as you said, this guy they got, this guy they brought, wasn't he the guy? Wasn't this the guy they got him from Brighton? The guy from Brighton, the guy who's in charge of the recruitment side of it all now, Nixon,
right?
Did they not get him in from Brighton?
Yeah,
Wasn't
I think you're right. Let me check though.
I think it was from Brighton they got him in from. I do believe. So this guy knows his kids. Cucurella's a prime example of that at Brighton. Tariq Lamptey and other. So yeah, I mean, look, it would not surprise me.
He's a manager turned. He's kind of a manager who's turned a chief scout and now the head of recruitment. So he's done all.
He's done it all. Is he the one they bought him from Brighton?
I'm checking that.
I think there was one. There one guy they bought him from Brighton. I can't remember his name. He was one of the best.
This guy has been with Newcastle from 2014.
Oh,
Apparently,
okay, so
he
it's a
started
different
as
guy.
a scout here and then chief scout. Now he's a
Okay.
chief scout.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, fair enough. He's still got an eye for talent players, and if that's what they get. That's fascinating. Because don't forget, if you think about it, they were linked with that kid from Inakiti from French club. He looks like Mbappe and Thierry Henry, but in the end, he's now going to join PSG. What a talent he was! Another player that didn't come to the Prem. I do believe we're going to sign him in January. 70 million. Apparently, a deal was all agreed, but he never came. Apparently, they were linked with him. Another talented kid. And yeah, for me, look, it's going to be interesting interesting to see what folds at them. But in terms of Maxima coming to Chelsea, I think we can run that. I think we can rule that one out, mate.
Yeah, I think we could rule that out. We have a couple of more names. One is Liao, who you mentioned. I'm not so sure about both him and Victor Osimhen. That is on the comment section.
Oh, Victor Osimhen.
Yeah. I don't know both of them, so I probably rely on your inputs on this.
Victor Osimhen is a young. Well, you're not saying a young striker. He's playing for Napoli. Again, we've just gone and got Koulibaly off them, and that was a hard deal to get over the line. I cannot, for the life of me, see their owner letting this guy come to us as well. I think the fans will kill him by then.
It's like the most integral part, is it?
Yeah, Victor Osimhen, he's a very good player. I mean, I know there's some people out there don't rate him. I think he's actually a good talent. 23, but he's for what I've seen of him, I think he was. Who was he playing for in France? I do believe he was playing for. He was bought from a French club. Maybe people in the comment section might be able to remind me. Lille. Yeah, he was bought from Lille, and he was good there. And obviously he a good shout. But again, Napoli will not do business with us for the second time. Especially what's that owner's name? The owner is it Deloret? Whatever his name is, I forget his name. He's a really bad guy to do business with, and he doesn't like us.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of clubs do not like us. But an interesting point about this person, Osimhen, is that he's got experience playing in almost all the leagues. Like he started with Ultimate Strikers in Nigeria, went on to play for VfL Wolfsburg. And then that is a German team, of course. And then you've got Charleroi, another team that he played for, returned back to Wolfsburg and then back to Charleroi. There was a couple of swaps in between. And then he went on to play for the French league, Lille, and now he plays for the Italian league, Napoli. He just missed out Premier League and the Spanish league. So I think he's an all-rounder across leagues. He's been performing. So not a bad shout, actually.
No, he's not a bad shout. It's just getting him, really. To be honest with you, VJ, that's going to be the hard part of getting him. Look, look. The good thing about him is I know when there was some interest in him, he was interested because he was talking about how he idolized Didier Drogba when growing up, because he looks up to Didier Drogba, and he thought he could come and he goes his game. He emulates his mat. He tries to emulate his game on Didier Drogba and the way he plays, but with this one is movement and hold up play. Yeah, and he's quick. He's very quick. He's got a good shot on him as well. But whether he is the kind of guy that is, when you look at, you're saying about another 23-year-old, I then look at it and say, we're looking at players like him, as much as I rate him, you then look at Broja and you think, well, we already got a young kid already at Chelsea. Do we really need to go out and fork out all that kind of money on another one when we can just give Broja a chance, at Chelsea and see how he does before going and making that decision up on a player like Osimhen? And again, I do rate him very highly, Osimhen, but as I said, it's unlikely he will come. And secondly, if he was to come, you can bet him dollar bill that will be the end of Broja's time at Chelsea, because I think Broja will go straight away.
Very true. Very true. There's no reason for him to stick around, and his contract is valid as well till 2025. So getting him is not going to be an easy thing as well. Got 3 more years left on his contract, and if you look at his financial value, it's been on the increasing level, like continuously increasing. It's going to be difficult. But then his contributions in terms of before the goal, 51 games played and 24 goals, 8 assists, and that's massive.
It's huge. It's huge. And as you said, he's not just done it in that league. He's done it. People can say, "Oh, but it's the Italian league." No, it might be the Italian league, but then you got to look at his career overall. And it seems everywhere he's been a success. So he does do a lot of talk. He does do a lot of his talking on the pitch, and you've got to give credit to players like that.
His goal ratio is almost like 180 minutes a goal. 180 minutes a goal. If you look at it, like 51 matches, 24 goals. Like every 2 matches, every second match he scores a goal. And League One as well, the same thing. 27 matches, 13 goals. That's a good thing for a centre forward.
Definitely.
Especially. But again, are we so reliant on these forwards? Again, if you look at it from a Timo Werner perspective, we had the same numbers for Timo Werner, even better numbers. But then he could not translate the same into from the Bundesliga to Premier League. Of course, how much can we rely on now a Serie A striker who apparently flopped for Chelsea in the past as well, Romelu Lukaku? Can we end up having another one like the same as well? Again, people coming from a different league. It's not that I'm against the other leagues. It's more of a risk for us to spend huge money. I'm fine with if you're making a transfer any less than 50 million, but over 50 million from another league is always a risk for me that we should be very cautious of.
No, definitely. And the thing of all we've got to also take into consideration is does Thomas Tuchel like to play with the target man, with the main target? I think you saw with Lukaku, he didn't want that kind of player in his team, and whether Osman is that same kind of player. But the difference between him and Lukaku is Osman's got a little bit more to his game, because not only can he play that target man if need be, but he can also play across the front three. So he can run the channels, he can cross the ball in, he can help others, he can maybe his hold up play is not as great as yet, but it'll get better. But what he will get you though is a lot of goals, and he will score you those goals. Again though, are we going to do the look? People will then look at it and say, well, you had Lukaku to come and do that, and he's had that experience. He's more of an experienced player now. He came back to the Premier and he couldn't do anything. We're talking about a guy who's not even played in the Premiership, but played across the other leagues, around other countries, but not in the actual Premiership. How would he come and cope here? Again, all those questions will be asked. But then again, if you don't ask the question, you're never going to know. And then it's just whether the owner wants to put his hands in his pocket and spend that kind of money for that kind of player, because he's going to cost, to get him out of Napoli now, you're probably looking around about 60, 70, 80 million to get him out of Napoli. And I, for one, cannot see I cannot see Napoli selling him on. And I don't think they want to sell him anyway. And I cannot see the owner selling to us again anyway. So I think we can forget about that. Maybe next summer we could go back in for him again and see what happens.
Yeah. Another player of interest before we go to Leo is, of course, Nkunku. Pradeep has called out his name. Obviously, there was interest that was registered by Manchester United in the month of May, I believe, and Arsenal in the month of June. They were interested in this player. 94 Bundesliga games, 31 goals, 37 assists. Very good record. Before that, he's played in the Liga 1 as well. 55 games, 8 goals, and 2 assists. Not bad for someone who's that young as well. 24 years. 1997 is his date of birth. So fairly a very good record. 23 Champions League games, 5 goals and 5 assists. So your thoughts about him? Probably
again a very good player.
Signing.
Huge money signing, very good player. Was linked with Chelsea as well. I do believe before he signed his new contract, there were
2026 valid.
Yeah, the new contract he's got now. I do believe his priority, I think, was what we're hearing, was to stay with his Leipzig. He plays for, isn't it?
Yeah, RB Leipzig.
Yeah, was to stay with Leipzig, and I don't think he wanted to come away from there. Even though he had those teams after him, your Chelseas, your Arsenals, your Manchester Uniteds, he always prioritised that staying at Leipzig was his number one choice. And let's be honest, I think what people don't remember, people don't also realise, he was under Thomas Tuchel, I do believe, for Borussia Dortmund, and he sold him.
Borussia Dortmund, yeah.
He sold him, and I don't think he was happy about that. Being sold by him, because he said he'll prove the manager wrong, And boy, has he gone and proved the manager wrong. So whether that stopped him from coming to Chelsea because of our manager would have been another thing. It could have been because of that reason, because I don't think him and Thomas Tuchel got on, because I think they had a fallout. But again, things can be mended. People can walk away, people can forget about it, and you can move on from that. He was young. Thomas Tuchel didn't think he was good at the time, and you let him move on, and he's bettered his career for that. However, at the same time, he was a talent, and Thomas Tuchel overlooked that and still got rid of him. Then you'd have to blame the manager on that one.
Right, and it's not that every time the manager gets everything right, obviously. So that's one thing on Thomas Tuchel that we have to be critical on. Pradeep, and like how Pradeep and DJ Savage obviously have confirmed, 2022, like just a couple of months back, is when he renewed his contract until 2026. So I don't think so there is any chance. Like, I think both of us are in agreement with this. There is no chance that we are going to get Nkunku anytime sooner, at least until Thomas Tuchel is in the club. Which I expected to be a long time.
The top-notch player, though, 100% top-notch player, though. A really good talent.
Yeah, respect for that, and respect for him to sign a long-term contract. That too, given his record in the Bundesliga in the previous season, deciding to stay with RB Leipzig, not even wanting to move to Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund at that point in time. RB Leipzig, they're strong, but again, not in contention with Bayern Munich by any means. And the last one is another option that you called out, Leo, right?
Rafael Leao. Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah. Look, I've this guy. He's anyone that's watched him or had a chance to see him play. I've not actually watched him live, but I've seen him. Seen him play for Sporting, and then he obviously moved from there. What a player! What a talent! The guy is quick on his feet. He can run at you. He takes on his man. He can score all sorts of goals. He's got a good range of a shot from him from distance. He's literally got everything in his locker to come and do well in the Premiership. It's whether Chelsea will go and fork out that money on him. There is a lot of talk that AC Milan don't want to sell. However, with AC Milan showing a huge interest in Hakim Ziyech, there's a possibility of Chelsea. I think there was talk of Chelsea throwing in money plus Hakim Ziyech to get him signed. And I think, from what I understand, Milan are trying to get him on a new contract, and he's not signed that new contract yet. And there's a possibility that he could make a move if the right offer comes in from Chelsea. And from what I understand, and I guess from seeing from various things, that he would be interested in a move to Chelsea as well. It would interest him. And let's see again. But whether Chelsea will pursue it is another thing, because, like you said, out of all the names that have been mentioned for attacking player options, he was put on there. But I do believe he was amongst the last of the two, I would say, of players that we were looking at. But I would love him at Chelsea, though.
Absolutely. I think that also makes sense. One, probably a concern that I would have is that, a player swap deal has never been easy for any club to make. It's not like FIFA, right? So player transfer deals, swap deals is always a bit complex, because the way that it is being reported in the books has always been the problem, right? Because when you write it on the books, right, when you report it on the books, a swap deal is always very difficult to record, because both of it, the rate of amortization would be different, the rate of payments would be different for both these clubs, even if there is additional income or additional amount that is involved as part of the deal. And that is the reason why a swap deal would be very, very difficult to achieve. But if Chelsea is able to make that deal happen, get it translated, then that would be obviously a successful deal at that, because Hakim Ziyech at Chelsea, as much as we would like to have that worked properly, the Moroccan magician apparently has not weaved his magic
great.
very recently.
Yeah, no, he hasn't been. And look, I think people, I was one of those kind of people that wanted to give Hakim Ziyech time, and because I do believe there is a good football in there. There's no doubt about it. There is a good football player in there. I think we all know what a wonder of a left foot he's got on him when he's on it. He's probably one of the best in the game with the left foot, and he can really.
The problem is he only plays in the left foot.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm trying to say. But if you think about the players, the majority of these players are all right-footed, aren't they? They usually are. Let's be honest. But when you get a player that is left side, and he can do all this. He scored that wonder goal against Tottenham. We all saw that the last season. What a goal that was!
Yeah,
That guy's got it in his
amazing.
locker, and for me,
and he scored in the next game also the same way.
Yeah, the same way.
2 consecutive games. Yeah,
I think it was one of them a Champions League game. I cannot remember. Anyway, but he
I
scored.
Which game it was, but consecutively.
He scored. Yeah, he's got it in his. I said he's got that in his locker, DJ. And if he can do that, brilliant. But I think a lot of the fans. I'm not one of those. For me, I'm one of those who turns on Chelsea players. I would never do that. I always like to see my players get an opportunity and given the chance. But I know there's a lot of the fan base out there that are running out of patience with Hakim Ziyech, and a lot of them are complaining a lot about him, saying he shouldn't be at our club. He's just a waste of time, waste of space. Doesn't get and the thing of all is, people say he plays in his wrong position. Sometimes when he does play in his right position, he's not always effective when he starts games. But it seems when he comes off the bench, he seems to be more effective when he comes off the bench than starting games. So then you have to say to yourself, what do you do with a player like that? Do you say to yourself, you know what, start the game, see how you're going to do for us? He then produces nothing for the whole of 80 minutes, whatever it is, 90 minutes, goes off, and then he has a heads down, moaning the next day, I wasn't given the chance, da 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 da. Then you think to yourself, what do you do with a player like that?
That is the problem.
That is the problem.
That is the problem, because I'm fine with if I want to use Hakim Ziyech for the next 30 minutes, like 60 to 90 minutes, if he is good in that particular 30 minutes, if I really want to use him during that phase of the game, I still can go ahead and do it, provided the player supports it. Right here, the player doesn't support it. That's been the problem, right? Like, he wants to play the entire 90 minutes, but can be only effective for one particular phase of the game. And we cannot rely on the player to give you an entire 90 minutes while being very effective during that 30 minutes, because you don't know when that 30 minutes is going to be. And if it is going to be towards the end of that game, you're probably not going to have your attackers in their full flow, full energy to support Hakim Ziyech as well. Because with Hakim Ziyech, all that you're going to be getting is loads of crosses into the box, and hoping and praying to God that someone finds the edge of the box and finds the ball and then nets it into the goal.
That was Lukaku's job, wasn't it?
Yeah,
when balls did go in the box. Yeah.
Let me read that comment out. It's a bit lengthy comment, but I'll still try my level best to read it out. Our players are not really taking their chances forward. Please, what's really the problem? And I'm asking because I see the manager doing nothing about it and kept on repeating on the pitch. I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about a few minutes before as well. I think I would probably give the manager another couple of games to actually work this out, because right now, maybe he doesn't have all the players to implement the tactics that he really want to implement. At the same time, this is completely an unknown opponent that we're playing against. It's a different league, a different opponent with a different physical level, like how DJ mentioned as well. This is not the opponent who is coming into the game, who's actually playing the preseason. It's the preseason for us, but it's not the preseason for them. They are in midway through the game, so they're in better shape. Obviously, physical condition is as well better, and the mentality for them also is better, because right now, if you look at Charlotte versus Chelsea, Charlotte picking up a win against Chelsea is something that happens. It has never happened. Rarely. So they play with zero pressure, and they've got to give all that they can possibly give, right? But with Chelsea, it's the other way around. We don't know anything about that particular team. At the same time, since we have been the world champions the year before that, we're expected naturally to win this game. Since we come from the Premier League, we're expected naturally to win that game without knowing literally nothing about the players who we are being deployed against, which is always difficult for a manager to work through. So I think once we play against Arsenal, we might get a fair understanding and idea about how we have improved this particular season, and progressively let's see how it's going to be improved. I think Thomas Tuchel is a very good coach who can bring in patterns of play, like how Pep Guardiola brings that in Manchester City's game as well. Hopefully he does that. But one thing, DJ, I want to ask your opinion on this. This is something that I came across on Twitter, and I felt it made more sense, right? Pep once had actually talked about this. Until final third, we develop patterns of play. we make sure that we help out the midfielders and defenders to evade the press and make sure that we reach the final third. But
Yeah,
once the ball is in the final third, it's up to the attackers and the spontaneousness of the attackers to actually put the ball in the back of the net. At that
correct.
point in time, whatever coaching you provide, it's not something that can be translated into the game. You cannot basically train a player to put the ball in the back of the net. That is
Yeah,
something that has to naturally come
natural.
for the player.
Yeah,
All that we can do is get to the final third, making sure that we create patterns of play that can facilitate the ball to end up in that final third. After that, it's all about the players on the pitch. That is not something that the coach can actually teach them or
correct,
make them work
correct.
that out. This is something that I saw on the Twitter, where Pep actually had opened up about it in one of the Manchester City videos. I think it made a lot of sense. You cannot actually coach people to score goals. That needs to
No,
come naturally for people,
no,
for players, and that's the reason why they're there. Actually, your thoughts
no,
on
that's
that?
correct. No, that's correct. I mean, both. I mean, I'm sure, like you, mate, you've played the game. I've played the game, and one thing I've always been told, when my coach used to tell me back in the day when I was playing the game, was that I used to play in attack. I used to play as attacking midfielder, and so my job would always be help. If you can come back, try and help out. But most of your time would be to stay up front. When the opportunities come to score, make sure you're there to score the goals. That's what you're trained. Or pass the ball for the forwards to score the goals. And I think what we see with our situation is that these players that we've got in our team, yeah, they know how to score. I'm talking about. I'm not just going to put the forwards on this. I'm also going to talk about the midfield here, because you have got attacking midfielders such as Mount. Obviously, you've got Havertz as plays the false nine. Then you've obviously got obviously our wingers in Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech. These players should know, especially at the age of whatever they are. I mean, I remember when I think Thomas Tuchel said about Timo Werner, he started scoring goals at the age. He was putting the ball in the back of net at the age of 6 years old. It's something they should. It's a natural thing for him. That's why he wasn't concerned with him when it came to the final third, because he thought definitely we're going to have someone who's going to get the end of these crosses and score the goals. So whatever the hard work that everyone does from the back to the midfield to get the ball into play for the players to go and score the goals, and they're not doing that. That's not something a manager can draw. A manager can just say, "Look, this is what we've been doing this is what we've been training on the training field every day. We're playing our practice matches. You know how to score goals. You know where the goal is. It's up to you now then to follow that up when you get the opportunity to go and get them goals in." And what you're seeing is happening is what we were seeing a lot of last season, especially I have to say, especially from the likes of Werner and obviously Lukaku, the chances that were being missed by those two last season. You look at yourself, are you guys actually natural? Are you guys supposed to be natural finishers? Right, and you're all flipping hitting the ball like, I don't know, either blazing one wide. I mean, I think in that Champions League match, I do believe Lukaku, when he came on, again, I don't want to keep going. He was doing some, or was it a Carling Cup match? I can't remember what it was. He was doing some tame headers. I'm talking about tame headers that should be powerful headers in the back of the net, and the goalkeeper was easily grabbing them from up in the air. Again, so again, it's one of those things where you think to yourself, how much more can a coach tell you to go and do? He'll coach you in what you need to go and do. But then when you actually start that match and play it for the full 90 minutes, 120 minutes, if it goes into extra, whatever the competition is, it's up to you then to go out there and produce and score and do what you should be doing. If you can't do it, then you've got the bench to bring on the players that should come out, should be able to come and do it. Unfortunately, some of the players that came with the bench for us, unfortunately, last season were not doing it either. Yeah. So we're in a bit of a situation. So, yeah, I mean, again, people can blame the coach to a certain part. Yes, he coaches the players that they should know how to score the goal. No, he coaches the players to go out there and perform every day. But then when they get on there, he doesn't play the game. He doesn't he's not the striker. He's not the midfielder. He's not the defender or the goalkeeper. He's the coach. So it's up to the rest of them to go out there and do what they should be doing. And if they don't do it, then you have to ask them the questions: is what is your issue? Why can you not do it? What is the problem with you? Is it because you're too scared to shoot? Because one of the things I knew when I was watching Chelsea a lot back in the days of Ranieri, I put Jose Mourinho to some degree, and even before, even the Roman Abramovich came into the football club, one thing we used to always do, we used to always shoot from distance. Last couple of managers that have come in or seasons that have come through, we've not been shooting at all from distance. It seems like we want to try and walk the ball in the back of net and play like Barcelona. run, dribble, then put the ball. You want to score that spectacular goal all the time. Well, you don't always need to be spectacular. You can just score a goal. If you want to, get 1 or 2, 3, go 2 goals up, whatever. If you then want to make your third goal a spectacular goal, then do it. But while the game is still 0-0,
don't
then
even get me started on that.
Score it.
30
Go
yard
score a goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate.
I mean, nowadays, like people want to go to that 30-yard box, and that is when they start taking shots. Even like I still remember the times when Lampard used to take shots. Michael Ballack on the other side.
Michael Lampard. Oh my God.
Essien, Ramirez. Everyone used to take those shots.
Essien.
Essien, and the other one just Essien and the other. No.
And who's that? Marco? Oh, Deco was another one.
No,
Deco.
Another Nigerian as well.
We had film. Obi Mikel was actually not. He was
Mikel,
actually shooting.
Mikel.
He didn't really shoot as often, but when he had the opportunity, he did the odd shot here and there. But yeah,
he takes the odd shot, and Mata as well at times, making sure that he puts
Oscar.
the ball properly in. Oscar really wasted his career moving to China. Oh my goodness! Had he been here, he would have now been a Chelsea legend.
You can thank Joe. Who's it sold him? Was it? I can't remember. Was it Jose or was it Conte that sold him? I can't not remember.
I think it was
one of the two.
Jose.
So was it before Jose? Was it Conte?
Probably
Conte after. Oh, Conte. What a mistake that was, eh? Again, we got the money from.
To be honest, he wanted to actually move out, and he wanted to, probably get his final contract, a very good payday, and all that.
Yeah, because I think people got to remember that. Yeah, people got to remember with that situation. You know how Brazilian players look after their families. It's common knowledge, mate. Exactly. That he wanted to do that, and he always said though he never wanted to leave Chelsea. And I remember him doing an interview on Talk Sport Radio. He came live on there. And he said, he
wanted to actually come back.
Like, I want to come back to Chelsea. He said, if an opportunity was to come back, I'd come back to Chelsea. But it's not happened. He stayed where he's at, and who knows? Well, he might end up coming back at some point. I don't know when though.
No, that's true. I mean, I'd love to see Oscar coming back to the Premier League once again, but not for Chelsea, given his age and given his. Given his caliber, maybe back to Chelsea, back to Premier League once again.
Maybe for someone like a team like Fulham, Newcastle.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. They kind of want that, face as well. That sort of a player who had that market value and all that. Like Oscar was also good in terms of player revenues and sales also, I believe.
And he was. I've got his shirt. I've got one of his shirts with his number on the back, with his name at the back of it.
We all had Oscar shirts a lot, like
man, days. Yeah, and Hazard back then as well.
Hazard, Hazard, obviously Hazard is like
Hazard, Costa.
Yeah, Costa, and we also had Lampard was another person. Lampard and Terry.
Yeah, Lampard. I've got
anyways,
Lampard.
Drogba, and
Essien I've got as well. Drogba.
Yeah. Ashley Cole. I don't know. I probably now I look at my shirt from the kits that I've got with the names at the back of them. I probably lost count. I've got so many of them, mate. I mean, this is just one of them what I'm wearing. I think this one's got the back. I think this one's got Lampard. I think at the back of it. This one. This is my Lampard one. Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those, man. It's one of those. I can imagine Lampard in that shirt.
I think it was Lampard or Essien. One of the two it is anyway. Lampard or Essien. One of the two.
I think Pradeep had made that calculation. Kounde will apparently earn 163k a week. That's a decent deal.
You know what? I forgot. I went off that. I got stopped talking, mate. It is, mate. I've stopped talking. I was looking into that and I just stopped. I got distracted. Sorry. No, that's the case. That's what he's going to be getting. Excellent. Thanks for working that out, Pradeep. If that's the case, big up to you.
That's a steal, actually. 163k is what?
100% steal. 163k. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Take that.
Absolutely. All right. I think, guys, we have right now, close to 40 people watching us live. Thank you so much, first of all, for joining us. DJ Sav, it's been a long time that I've actually seen you.
Mate.
I've seen, I've spoken to you But recently, I think you've not been switching on your camera. It's been right now.
Oh,
I'm
mate,
seeing you
sorry.
after a long time.
Yeah.
No, that's not a problem. But it's so lovely to see you after a long
Same, mate.
time.
Same
And
here.
we'll
Thanks for having
continue
me
to
on.
stream tomorrow as well. That
Yeah.
is Arsenal pre-match review.
Okay.
And probably the same time as well. Stay tuned with Twitter. That's exactly where I post
Yeah,
my
I'm always on.
live streams as well. Exactly. And a lot of people like Tobago before before DJ Tobago was here. He's on Twitter. He's active as well. So you
Yes,
can all
he
connect
is.
with
Big
me
up
in
to him.
Sportswire. It's a beautiful
He's also got a
community that's
channel.
on the Brewing.
He's got a channel
Yeah,
as well,
he's got
bro,
a
by the
channel
way.
as well. Yeah.
Doing really well. Big up to him.
I would have shared his channel link then.
That's all right, mate.
Next time I should be doing that. But yeah, so make sure to follow us all. Hopefully we keep you entertained, and Chelsea keeps us entertained. And
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, and to just keep you guys posted, we've got CFC Gem of GNA TV starting a stream in the next few minutes. So check out
okay. I'll
GNA
go and check
TV
that.
as well.
Big up to
So
you,
he's
Jim.
going to be live very soon. If you want to hop in and have your say there as well, it would be lovely. Thank you so much, everyone on the chat. The chat was lovely today, very interactive, a lot of information. Daniel Crane, Pradeep, Midavo, Kevin, a lot of other people. I'm really sorry if I missed your name out. Francis, Praminder, a lot of people coming in with informations actually that we might have missed out while we were streaming, because on a hardly basis we were getting updates. Super Tommy Tuchel. So a lot of people came in and actually told us to check this tweet, that tweet, and we came in and we took that tweet, and then we saw, okay, fine, Matra reported that. I was glad that we were able to report it first, that about the Fabrizio Romano Twitter on Jules tweet on Jules Koundé. So hopefully we are able to get more things done on the stream as well. Tomorrow we'll definitely have another very interactive stream, and if you guys are around, please hop in as well. It would be lovely. And this is a topic definitely for another day. Ross Barkley.
Ross Barkley.
Because that's
But you know what though, bro? I'm not going to talk about it, but what Medware Gadian's saying, big up to you. Sorry if I just completely blasted your name out of the wall, if I got it wrong there, mate. Big up to you. And what you're saying is true, because we all seen Ross Barkley when he was playing for Everton in his Everton days. A man used to have a shot on him. Come to Chelsea, man. He doesn't even do that at Chelsea, man. The guy's just useless. Seriously.
And,
not in a bad way.
And the way that Ross Barkley's contract is structured is different from that of the other people.
Man.
He's not getting weekly wages. He basically gets a yearly wage. I guess it's 5 million, but then he's on a yearly wage. He's not on a weekly wage. That's a difference in his contract. Not sure why his contract is that way structured, but apparently this is not a weekly wage structure.
Nice. He's like you said, he's a discussion for another day. I tell you what, of all the players that we need to get rid of, I tell you what, him on top of that list, along with Bakayoko, Baba Rahman, him, but Bama Rahman, another one who's still at the football club doing nothing, and then the other guy, I don't know this what's his name, Benatelli, the goalkeeper. What exactly is he? A goalkeeper? Bettinelli, is he a goalkeeper?
Marcus Bettinelli. He's supposed to be a third goalkeeper, and he's playing like an outfield player. Like, use your hands. You can use your hands. You don't have to just use your legs.
Oh, mate. Seen him in his training videos. He plays like he's an outfield player on his training videos.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's one of the players on the pitch.
You have been given a gloves for a reason.
Oh,
come on, use that.
Seriously, man. Oh, that's another topic for another discussion for another day, bro.
Definitely. But with that, we'll let you guys also, go for a break if you guys want to, and then join us on GNA TV. Until next time, this is Vijay signing off along with DJ Savage. You guys have
big up to you guys. Thanks for having me on, bro. Peace out, everyone. Smash the like. You know what to do. Take care. Peace.